Okay, I think we are live. Right, welcome everybody. Some interesting fights on today. It's around 8:30 p.m. UK time. I think we're getting into the main fights now, hopefully, fingers crossed. Um, so in terms of a rundown of the main fights, I don't know if all these fights have I don't know how many of these fights have happened yet. I suspect none of them. I mean, the main fights I'm interested in, and I assume many people will be interested in for tonight's night of boxing, is probably going to be the Maxi Hughes Ryan Walsh fight, the Ebanie Bridges fight against Maria Cecilia Roman, unless it's already happened. I suspect it hasn't. If I'm looking at the Matchroom boxing card for this, it looks like, if it is in order, which I suspect it is, and then that'll be after the Maxi Hughes fight, and then finally the main card, obviously, which is the Kiko Martinez Josh Warrington fight. So interesting fights ahead of us. Looks like one of the fights has already ended, which I think was between Dalton Smith and Ray Moillet. I think Dalton Smith has won that fight because it looked like Moillet didn't look particularly happy. So I suspect that's what's just happened. Yeah, looks like that's the case. So yeah, Dalton Smith, he's won his fight by TKO. So I suspect, unless I'm wrong, that the next fight is going to be, from looking at the Matchroom boxing schedule, I suspect the next fight is going to be Maxi Hughes versus Ryan Walsh. So let's see if that is the case. And if it is, then let me look at the BoxRec stats on these two fighters. I've already got my prediction for the for the three fights that I suspect are still yet to happen, which are the ones that I've already outlined at the beginning of this little chat that I'm having with you guys. So let's just look at the Hughes Walsh fight, which hasn't happened yet, and just go through the stats and stuff like that. So I think Hughes is going to win his fight against Walsh. I mean, just looking at the stats between the two, I mean, Walsh's record looks better on paper, but I think Hughes just has a bit more experience. It's been interesting listening to the chats for the fight beforehand, all the kind of lead up chats and things like that. I think the fighters have been both relatively respectful. Oh, that's a bit strange, by the way. It looks like there was a bit of doesn't matter. The Smith fight's already ended anyway, but it looks like he threw quite a few low blows. I mean, I didn't watch the full fight though, so um, I mean, from looking at some of the highlights, it looks like he deserved to win his fight, but just a low blow in one of the highlights that was showing on Dazn. So anyway, coming back to the Hughes Walsh fight and where I think it's going to go. I mean, I think Hughes has more experience. I think he's going to comfortably win. But that being said, Walsh is very hungry for this title. He's been given a kind of a not a once in a lifetime opportunity, but he's been given a very, very good opportunity to take a title and to take on other opponents in the space. So that's pretty interesting in my view. Hughes has been talking about the fact that he's trying to pay off his mortgages, which I thought was quite funny. Looks like Fizan from Quality Shot is sharing this stream, although I can't hear him currently. Unless my headphones have completely cocked up. I suspect they haven't though. But yeah, I mean, Hughes has been talking about the fact that he's trying to pay off his mortgage and so on, which I think is a pretty interesting mindset to be in. I don't know if that necessarily means that he's going to be particularly hungry for bigger and better things necessarily, but at the same time, if you want big money fights and to continue making as much money as you want, then obviously you need to stay relevant and keep hold of titles and so on. So I'm sure he's motivated, but he looks particularly calm. That might be a good thing for him anyway. Um, it's just been interesting listening to things like that because sometimes a lot of fighters are talking about the fact that they want to take on bigger fights and um, become more prominent in the respective division that they're in. But Hughes is talking about paying off his mortgages and making a bit more money, which is completely understandable goal and aim. But you do wonder whether that's a sign that maybe he's not as kind of motivated for this fight. Will that have an impact on whether he trained well enough? I mean, who really knows? Um, from what I understand from some of the pre-fight interviews that he's had, it looks like he's been um, training quite close to his family, which has been really good for him. A lot of fighters have to get away quite far from their family if they're going to training camp. It looks like he's had quite a good training camp. He's been sparring quite a few good fighters. I think he indicated that he wasn't fighting the types of fighters that may fit Walsh's fighting style, but then nevertheless that he's really enjoyed the sparring and that he thinks it's been quite a useful thing for him, and he's gained a lot of kind of good experience up to this leading up to this fight, just sparring different fighters, and that I think in his view he said that regardless of whether I'm fighting someone who necessarily fits my opponent's style or not, I think it's good to get sparring in. So that's all good. Um, Obviously, I know that Quality Shot has interviewed um, Hughes before, so we have a liking for Hughes. But irrespective of that, and objectively, I do think Hughes will win this fight as well. And it's not a kind of a biased verdict. um, and I mean, why not? I mean, he's got in terms of the whole thing that he's trying to pay off his mortgages, etc. I mean, it's a pretty decent thing for him to do. He's obviously got quite a young family, so it's understandable. Um, so currently, I'm watching these fights on Dazn. If you're interested in knowing where I'm watching it, Dazn's pretty decent. We're not obviously sponsored by Dazn or anything like that, but Dazn, from my experience, is pretty good. Pretty good fights, and there's a lot of content on there, which I think is super useful. And I think the subscription is relatively reasonable in terms of pricing as well. So I'm glad that it's on Dazn. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting round of fights. Do let us know what your predictions are. I always like hearing people's predictions and seeing how they go. I might as well go through my own. So, yeah, my prediction for the Hughes Walsh fight is that I think Hughes is going to win. I suspect it'll be a points victory. And then for the Bridges fight, which I think is still yet to happen, I'm just going to have a quick check now on BoxRec because sometimes they do update the statistics if it is the case that someone's won a fight or lost a fight, etc. They are usually quite quick, I find. Let me just check that now. But my suspicion is that Bridges fight hasn't happened yet. And I'm just going to listen into BoxRec right now. Sorry, I'm just looking at the stream. Okay, it looks like they're preparing for a fight coming up, although no one is yet to actually enter the ring. Oh yeah, so I'm just looking at the stream. It looks like the Bridges fight hasn't happened yet. So anyway, the Bridges fight, I suspect Ebanie Bridges will win her fight. However, and I've got nothing against Ebanie Bridges. I've personally found that in her last fight, I think it was her last fight, because I looked at the fight. I looked at the fight event, and I have a feeling I streamed that one and did a live commentary for that particular round of fights. And I feel as if I had come to the conclusion that she lost that last fight. But then she won on a points decision. I really thought that the other opponent was robbed personally, um, and that maybe they were favoring her because she has such a big name in the space. I don't want to rush to conclusions, but I have a feeling that's the case. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see how she performs in this fight, because I do think one of the fights that she had, I think it was her previous fight, I do think that she lost that fight. Um, so let's see how it goes, and let's see how the judges score it, and obviously I'll be scoring it as well. And I mean, again, if I get to a situation where I've scored it completely different to the judges, and the judges give it to her, I'm going to start suggesting increasingly so that there's a hint of bias in scoring these fights. So the next, and obviously the final main fight, my prediction on the Martinez Warrington fight. Now, obviously, we like the um, we obviously like Warrington, being British boxing fans. Um, but I have a feeling it'll be a very, very close fight. It'll either go Martinez's way through a TKO or a KO, or Warrington's way through a points victory, basically. But I think it'll be very, very close. And Martinez has shown really strong signs of carrying a lot of power, especially in his previous fight. His overhand rights were super, super effective. So let's see how that fight pans out. Now, looks like we're actually coming to the Walsh and Maxi Hughes fight. So I'm going to tune into that and score it, and look forward to watching it. It looks like we just decided to start the stream at the best time, really, because I think it's the main three fights. So yeah. So right now, I think it's just Walsh entering the ring. He's looked really calm lately. He's obviously super pumped, excited. There's obviously a belt on the line in this particular fight, the IBO World Light title. And yeah, he looks really calm in there, which is good to see. He is. I don't think he is the. Unless I'm getting it wrong, I don't think he's the home fighter. So that may be a kind of an issue for him. Because Hughes, unless I'm mistaken, he is from Yorkshire, and this fight is in Leeds in Yorkshire, whereas Walsh is from Norfolk, it seems. But it looks like he hasn't really been booed in necessarily. It looks pretty comfortable, and it looks like there's a relatively decent crowd atmosphere. So I don't think that's necessarily impacted him. I don't think that will impact his performance. So that's pretty negligible, I would say, in terms of the impact of him fighting in Yorkshire. So yeah, Walsh has entered the ring, as I said, looking quite calm from the pre-fight interviews. He's also been pretty calm as well. So I think we're just waiting for Hughes to enter the ring as well. Ring announcers just announcing that Hughes is going to be coming in soon. Also, it's very nice to see this this ring announcer. Is, unless I'm wrong, David Diamante. Did he have a? Yeah, he had a motorcycle incident. Um, yeah, he had a really bad motorcycle incident back in December of last year. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and he came very close to, I think, paralyzing himself or something like that. So it's really nice to see that he's back to announcing fights, because he's obviously very iconic, and I think he's quite charismatic. He's obviously very well known for the fact that he's got um, a um, very nice hairstyle. So we got Maxi Hughes coming into the ring. He looks focused. He doesn't look right now particularly as excited as Walsh looked. He looks far more focused, almost stoic. But he is smiling. He's just entered the ring. He is smiling, so I think he's pretty relaxed. Both fighters looking pretty relaxed. He is, of course, in his kind of not hometown necessarily, but he's in Yorkshire, and he is from Yorkshire, so I'm sure he's quite relaxed and comfortable. And then just the tail of the tape on these two. Hughes is 32, Walsh is 35. 16% knockout ratio from Hughes, 37.5% knockout ratio carried by Walsh. Interestingly, Walsh has boxed more rounds, and his debut was in 2008, whereas Hughes' debut was in 2010. I do think Hughes has fought more kind of more well-known opponents, but pretty close statistics, I would say there. You know, slightly edging it, Walsh, on the knockout ratio. But otherwise, I mean, they seem kind of relatively evenly matched on paper. And interestingly, as I said earlier, Walsh has got a better record on paper as well, with 27 wins and 3 losses, whereas Hughes has 24 wins and 5 losses. So it'll be competitive, I think. It'll be pretty competitive. 3 judges, one from England, one from France, one from Poland. I assume we may come back to the judges later. I suspect this will go the distance. It is a 12-round fight. Both fighters in the ring fighting for the IBO World Light title, which is held by Hughes, I believe. So he's coming in as the current champion, and Walsh is challenging. And yeah, both fighters in the center of the ring, just waiting to get this one going. Look forward to scoring it. And yeah, I mean, do let me know your predictions before we start. If you have any predictions for the other fights, do let me know as well. So this is, I suspect, the fight before the main fight. Both fighters looking pretty fit. Not surprised. I'm sure they've trained hard for this one. It is going to be a competitive fight. Yeah, obviously fighting in Yorkshire. Hughes has his residence down as Yorkshire, it seems, on BoxRec. Just going to turn the sound on to see if there's anything to report that can be gathered from listening in. Not really. Both fighters now in the center of the ring. Referee giving them the usual talk. Protect yourself at all times, etc., etc. Both fighters touching gloves. All right. Right, Ryan Walsh v Maxi Hughes for the IBO World Light title, and the fighters are underway. Interestingly, Walsh coming out quite quick. Nice right thrown by Walsh. Hughes is just on the kind of back foot, just trying to examine, finding his reach. Hughes with a quick 1-2 to the body. Walsh again coming forward on the front foot. Walsh trying a left. Walsh trying to come forward. Hughes stopping him with a right. Hughes with another right. Or Hughes with a 1-2. Looks like the fighters have kind of settled a bit more into the center of the ring. I mean, Walsh did kind of burst out at the beginning, but both fighters find themselves in the center of the ring. Nice quick right thrown by Hughes there. Walsh coming back with a right of his own. And both fighters currently in the clinch. Referee stepping in to break the two fighters up. 2 minutes left of this first round. Nice right hand by Hughes. Walsh trying to throw quite a vicious hook that misses. Walsh is looking pretty comfortable throwing there. And tries a double jab followed by a left hook that misses. A few kind of pitter-patter type shots thrown by Walsh. Hughes with a solid jab. Hughes with a stiff left. I think Hughes is having slightly better of the exchanges so far. 1 minute left for this first round. Hughes with a nice left hook, but just brushes against Walsh. 40 seconds left this first round. Walsh with a pretty nice body shot, but Hughes coming back. And Walsh again trying to set up a left hook that misses. Walsh throwing a right hook that misses as well. Hughes looking pretty sharp in there. Ten seconds left this first round. Walsh with his leading left, trying to set himself up, but Hughes staying out of range. And looks like that's the end of the first round. I'm giving that one to Hughes. So I've got Hughes up, obviously by one, given that we're only in the first round. I mean, the reason why I would give Hughes that round, I think he was just a bit better with the landing of the punches. He just did a better job getting out of the way of Walsh's punches as well. I think he just boxed better. Basically, nothing else really to note. There was a nice left that Hughes threw, which just brushed Walsh, but looked like probably the most vicious shot of that first round. I think Walsh was doing a decent amount of headhunting, but Hughes did a pretty good job of just staying out of range, to be perfectly honest. So moving on to the second round now. And again, Walsh being the aggressor in this fight. He is trying to come forward more, but Hughes doing a good job again, just popping the jab. And also, Hughes doing a good job just keeping that guard up. Ooh, Walsh landing a decent body shot. You know, trying to go upstairs and then following to the body. I mean, I think one thing to note is that Walsh is just doing a good job of just keeping activity quite high. He is punching quite a lot he is throwing quite a lot. Ooh, Hughes with a nice shot to the body. Hughes with a stiff jab. Walsh trying to jab at Hughes' body, but just missing. Nice body shot by Walsh, but Hughes come back with a very stiff right hand. lot of power punches being thrown there by Walsh, but unfortunately for him, missing. Hughes doing a decent job keeping his guard up. Hughes coming forward with a few punches of his own, but getting tied up by Walsh. A minute 15 of this second round. Stiff right thrown by Hughes. Another right thrown by Hughes. And Hughes trying to unload a few combinations, but Walsh doing a good job just staying out of range. Less than a minute left of this second round. Oh, nice uppercut thrown by Hughes there. Referee just stepping in. Walsh looked like he was kind of pushing Hughes down. 30 seconds left this second round. Nice right thrown by Hughes. Oh, and a nice left hook that lands thrown by Hughes. 15 seconds left this second round. And I think unless Walsh can do much in this last 10 seconds, I think this round is going to Hughes as well. Oh, a nice right hook thrown by Hughes, and oh, it was all pretty aggressive in the last 10 seconds. A lot of bad blood there between the two fighters. I think Walsh was coming in with a bunch of kind of combinations, but largely missing, and Hughes coming back, landing a very nice hook. So yeah, I mean, it's a 10-9 round to Hughes again, in my opinion, for that second round. I think that's probably less close than the first round. In my view, I think Hughes did a much better job in this round compared to the previous round. And the slow-mos there, the highlights being shown by Dazn that I'm looking at, just showing that nice left hook that Hughes landed. So we're moving on to the third round. So far, I'm not particularly surprised. I am assuming that Hughes is going to win this fight on points. But you know, this is boxing. Anything can happen. Third round underway. Both fighters just trying to throw a few jabs. I mean, nothing really effective right now. Doing a decent job staying out of each other's way. Hughes with a jab. Walsh trying to keep low, trying to come forward, trying to see if he can cut off the ring and unload a few power punches. I think that's his aim. But Hughes doing a good job just keeping him at bay and being quite quick and stinging with those jabs, really. Or a really wild hook thrown by Walsh that doesn't connect. Stiff jab by Hughes. 1-2 thrown by Hughes. Another stiff jab thrown by Hughes. Pretty good scoring punches. Maybe throwing Walsh off rhythm. Another right thrown by Hughes. He's having a lot of success with the right hand. And ooh, both fighters just trying a few combinations and it all looking a bit messy, to be honest. But I think Hughes is having the better of the two when it comes to throwing these combos. 1 minute 30 of this third round. Walsh is still the aggressor in this fight, still coming forward, still trying to get low. See if he can land a heavy power punch. But he is getting beaten to the punch in many cases, and I do think he's getting slightly outboxed. 1 minute left this third round. Oh, stiff left thrown by Hughes. .50 seconds left of this third round. Or another left thrown by Hughes. He's just had much more success again in this third round, Hughes. Oh, and a nice right hook thrown by Hughes. and an uppercut followed by a left, which I think for the most part brushed Walsh. But then he's coming back with a left hook as well, and you can see there's a bit of or a nice a miss, an uppercut that missed, followed by a right hook that did connect, thrown by Hughes. I was about to say you're starting to see a bit of bruising over the left eye of Walsh now as well. So it looks like those punches are certainly taken a toll, and a really nice stiff left thrown by Hughes again. That's the end of the third round. I'm pretty sure that was definitely Hughes's round again. I'm not surprised. I've got Hughes up by 3 out of these 3 rounds. Another 10-9. And the slow-mo just showing the ability of Hughes there to have ducked some of the more aggressive combos that Walsh was trying to throw, and then Hughes coming back with a nice right hook of his own. He's just been quicker, Hughes, and it's interesting because obviously Walsh has adopted the position of the aggressor, trying to push Hughes back, but Hughes just done a very good job fighting on the back foot, avoiding some of these combos that Walsh is trying to throw, and then just coming back with a solid punch of his own. So very good counters thrown by Hughes so far. And both fighters getting ready for the 4th round. I think the cutman trying to do whatever he can to ensure that Walsh's cut doesn't get out of hand above his left eye. 4th round underway. Hughes again adopting the same approach he's always adopted. Very nice jab, followed by a left uppercut, which I don't think connected. But you could see he's doing a great job mixing up the jabs with the more vicious punches. He's making Walsh second guess what Hughes is about to throw. And I think that's throwing Walsh off rhythm. I think if Walsh wanted, he would. I think what Walsh would have preferred is if Hughes is a bit slower with the punches, so that he could come forward and start landing some of his own combos. But every few seconds, he's reminded to to think about what he's doing, because he keeps getting hit with a jab or has to deal with one of these power punches coming from Hughes. Another jab thrown by Hughes, and a 1-2 thrown by Hughes. And I feel like every second punch that Hughes is throwing is connecting. Right jab from Hughes that lands, and another right. Doing a really good job just pecking Walsh. Hughes. And yeah, I mean, Walsh just again trying to come forward, trying to impose himself on Hughes, but not really having too much success. Less than a minute of this 4th round. Jab thrown by Hughes. Walsh throwing his own jab. Walsh with a nice shot to the body, but then being met with a 1-2 by Hughes directly afterwards. Hughes just looks super focused in there. Walsh has been smiling at different points. I think maybe slightly frustrated, Walsh. "15 seconds left for this 4th round. And yeah, not really much from these two boxers. There's a lot of feints right now. Hughes just doing a decent job, keeping distance, waiting for Walsh to come in and maybe make a mistake. That's the end of the 4th round. It's another 10-9 in my view. As so far, every round has gone to Hughes. So I've got Hughes up by 4 as we move into this 5th round. Dazn just showing Kiko Martinez getting wrapped right now. that'll be a super interesting fight, the main fight. Looking forward to it. But yeah, I mean, I think this fight so far, it's been interesting to watch. I also think it's been not as competitive necessarily as I had assumed. I think Hughes has been quite comfortably winning each round. He's just been quicker with the quicker generally, beating Walsh to the punch, doing a good job keeping distance, and his power punches have been more effective because they've been landing more basically. Fifth round underway. Just well, nothing really happening right now. Both fighters trying to throw and neither landing really. As expected, power punches, Hughes 47% landed, Walsh 27% landed, and yet Walsh has thrown 8 more power punches. And oh my god, Hughes with a really vicious left hook, and Walsh is holding on, but I think he's okay for the most part. But just Hughes having much more effectiveness as expected, just landing the power punches. I mean, Walsh has been throwing more, and he is obviously trying to be the aggressor here, but Hughes has just been far more economical with these power punches, and he's just been more accurate. Whether it's a jab or a power punch, he's just been more accurate. He's just boxing more cute, staying out of range, and just effectively utilizing his boxing ability here in this fight. And I do feel as if Walsh has been slightly outboxed. 1 minute 30 left of this fifth round. Nice left hand thrown by Hughes. And a nice body shot thrown by Hughes as well. And a nice 1-2. Almost thought that someone spat their guard out, but I don't think that's what happened. It almost looked like it. There's a minute left this fifth round. Both fighters just feinting. Walsh using his leading left to see if he can try and set something up. But, I mean, nothing really, unfortunately for him. He just hasn't been effective. Or on a nice left thrown by Hughes, followed by a right hand and another right hand. He's just been more accurate, Hughes. And a 1-2. I mean, Hughes might even fancy trying to get Walsh out there before it goes to the judge's decision, but I think he could ride the judge's decision if he just keeps boxing like this, to be honest. Oh, and another stiff left, I think that was thrown by Hughes. And Walsh doesn't really have any answers to this. He's been outboxed so far. It's the end of the fifth round. Again, it's a 10-9 to Hughes. And Walsh just breathing. He doesn't look particularly pleased with his performance. It just looked like he took a deep breath in. And Hughes just looking very comfortable, very, very, very focused. You know, he came in to the ring looking very focused, very stoic. And he's fighting similar to the way that he came in. He's very focused. Very, very focused, not getting overexcited. Just very good technically. Moving into the sixth round now. And yeah, Hughes is up, in my opinion, by 5. I mean, I think he's basically won every single round leading up to the sixth round. So let's see how the sixth round goes. Let's see if Walsh can turn this fight around for himself or not. And oh, interestingly, Tony Bellew's scorecard has 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds to Hughes and 1 round to Walsh Fair dues. So that's similar to what I have it, although I've got it currently unanimous. In terms of all the rounds up leading up to this one being scored in favour of Hughes. Nice stiff right thrown by Hughes. Oh, a nice right thrown by Hughes. A right thrown by Walsh, and another right. Or uppercut thrown by Hughes. Walsh with a quite high guard. Coming forward. Although drops his hands again, takes a right hand thrown by Hughes. Hughes just circling around Walsh. Walsh trying to go for a jab to the body, but Hughes staying out of range. Oh, Hughes with a stiff left. Followed by a right. And another really sharp right hand thrown by Hughes. 1 minute left of this 6th round. A stiff right thrown by Hughes again. Followed by a stiff left hand. And another right, and another right. He's really landing, you know, very, very frequently. Hughes is. And Walsh is just, he's throwing less. Unfortunately for him, he's just landing less as well. He's just trying to not necessarily headhunt, but Walsh is looking like he's trying to go in for a power punch. Maybe he'll have success in the later rounds. Who knows? But so far, as we go into the end of the 6th round with 20 seconds left, he just hasn't been very effective or successful with these power punches or this aggressive play that he's been trying to carry out. 10 seconds left of this 6th round. That's the end of the 6th round. Again, it's a 10-9 in my opinion to Hughes. So I've got Hughes up by obviously 6. I think he's won every single round on a 10-9 points basis. We're moving into the 7th round. This is a 12-round fight. I mean, let's see what Walsh can do. I think, in my opinion, Walsh needs to knock down Hughes, or he needs to get a TKO or a KO victory. I don't think there's any other way he's going to win this fight, in my personal opinion, because I just don't think I just do not think there's any way Walsh can win this fight on points now. It's been an interesting fight in some respects. I mean, it's been interesting to see how Hughes has been able to box so effectively. So that's been quite interesting. I expected it to be slightly more competitive, but maybe this is, you know, credit to how good Hughes is. Really, he's just been much better at boxing, and he's been happy to deal with the aggression from Walsh and to just do very well on the back foot. 7th round is underway now. Kind of a yeah, and again, total punches 24% landed by Hughes, 14% by Walsh. And yet Hughes only throwing 7 more punches than Walsh. Or decent right hand thrown by Hughes there. Walsh with a kind of an overhand right that wildly misses. Hughes with a really nice short left hook that connects. Walsh still coming forward though, and he does have some effect. It does have some effect with a right hook that he threw, but Hughes took it. Walsh with a very wild left hook that misses. Interesting tactic by Walsh. He's trying to jab different parts of Hughes' body. I think he wasn't really doing that before. Like he's going to the body and then trying to go upstairs. Maybe he's trying to get Hughes' guard down and mess around with his guard so that he can land a power punch. But it looks like Hughes is wise to that, and he isn't really doing very much to allow any openings for Walsh to capitalize on. 1 minute 20 of this 7th round. There's just slightly more energy coming from Walsh in this 7th round, which is interesting. I mean, Hughes, in my opinion, was expending a lot of energy, but I think he was doing it in a very effective way. I think he was landing very efficiently as a result of the punches that he was throwing. So I can't suspect that's going to be at his disadvantage. Nice stiff left thrown by Hughes. But who knows? Maybe Walsh aims to do something in the latter rounds. Maybe he's trying to go. Maybe he was trying to conserve some of his energy. Though he eats a nice 1-2 thrown by Hughes there. 35 seconds left this 7th round. Walsh with a triple right jab, all of them missing, but probably just to find his range perhaps. Nice right thrown by Hughes, a nice 1-2. Nice jab thrown by Hughes. This has been a closer round compared to the other rounds in my opinion. I still think Hughes is edging it. 10 seconds left this 7th round. Nice shot to the body by Hughes. And a nice right. And I think the work that Hughes has done in the last 15-20 seconds was probably enough to maybe snatch that round. I think Walsh is maybe thinking perhaps he got that round. He had a much better round in my opinion though, so I'm still going to give it 10-9 to Hughes. I've got it super one way in favor of Hughes this fight so far, but I do think Walsh had some more success in that particular round. Maybe this is where he's going to start coming on a bit more. Maybe he was trying to conserve his energy in the earlier rounds. I mean, we'll see what his tactics were, see if that is the case or not. But I do give that round to Hughes. I just think he's just being much more efficient with his punches, landing more, and he's throwing way more. I mean, there's 3 punches coming from Hughes and then maybe 1 from Walsh, so he's just quicker, Hughes. I just think Walsh is fighting at a slower speed. Walsh's corner just, trying to pump him up. I don't know what they're telling him. Maybe they're telling him you need a knockout. I assume not at this stage, but that's my personal view. I think he needs a knockout, Walsh, to win this fight. 8th round is underway. Hughes thrown a right, which misses. Shot to the body by Hughes. Right hand landed by Hughes, and another right, and another right, and another, and Walsh just creeping forward, trying to figure out how to close that distance. Another very quick right hand thrown by Hughes, which lands. He's done a very good job of just keeping up the speed of his punches even into the 8th round. He still looks very sharp in there, to be honest. Walsh with a kind of a looping left, which doesn't connect. Walsh, Hughes with a double jab, which doesn't connect. You just have a feeling Walsh is maybe trying to land that one big punch. He hasn't really been throwing in combinations. He's been throwing a lot of kind of single jabs, single punches, whereas he's just being met with 1-2s and very sharp right hands by Hughes. Around a minute left this 8th round, and yeah, Walsh with a left hand which misses. Hughes doing a decent job staying out of range. I'm sure Walsh is trying to figure something out. He's probably, he hasn't lost hope. He's still trying to think how he can set up a big punch. I assume that's what he's trying to do, but it's just very difficult. And Walsh with a kind of a overhand left, which misses. And it is risky when he's trying to throw those power punches because he exposes himself obviously to a counter from Hughes. Hughes is incredibly sharp. 30 seconds left this 8th round. It's not really going Walsh's way. Walsh with a kind of a looping right overhand right which misses. He unfortunately has not had much success. Walsh. That's the end of the 8th round. Again, it's a 10-9. It's a 10-9 in my opinion to Hughes again. 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds left of this 12th round fight. Walsh needs a knockout. He needs a TKO or a KO victory. I mean, there's no other way that he can win this fight on my own scorecard. He needs knockdowns. He needs power punches to land. But interestingly, at this point of the fight, I actually think Hughes is more likely to be the one to deliver a TKO or a KO victory for himself because he's just been quicker. He's outboxed Walsh. He's been quicker to the punch. He's been throwing punches in bunches. And Walsh is slightly more hesitant. He is trying to come forward, but his punches have been few and far between. He's met by several punches before he can kind of move on to his next kind of move. It's become difficult for him to set up something, I think. So yeah, it's not been a particularly good fight for Walsh so far, in my opinion. But anything can happen in boxing. 9th round, maybe he can deliver something spectacular. Who knows? All he needs is a golden opportunity and ability to land a power punch, for example. He could maybe change the fight, the fight's course. But at this stage, I don't think that's going to happen. 2 minutes 20 of this 9th round. Walsh with maybe a bit more urgency, I think. He's coming forward more, although Hughes again just doing what he's always been doing throughout this whole fight. Nice right hand thrown by him. Still looking quick on his feet. I think Walsh needs to start taking some risks. It's getting even worse now, the statistics. 45% of power punches thrown by Hughes, which landed, compared to 23% thrown by Walsh. And I think Hughes has probably outthrown Walsh both on power punches and normal punches by this point in the fight. Nice stiff right hand thrown by Hughes. It's just more activity coming from Hughes in this fight. And kind of a combination thrown by Hughes, which doesn't really, none of it really connects, but he does manage to connect with his stiff right hand afterwards. And I think, you know, it's the right jab that he's been able to utilize so effectively in this fight, and he's been able to keep Walsh at bay and throw Walsh off rhythm. Probably he's been really good at just continuously throwing that right hand. Sorry, my my headphones cut off there. 40 seconds left of this 9th round. Pretty comfortable fight, in my opinion, for Hughes in terms of where I think this fight is going. He still needs to stay alert, of course. I'm sure Walsh is itching to try and deliver a heavy shot, and he's not going to give up until the final bell has rung. 15 seconds left of this 9th round. Slightly sloppy combination thrown by Hughes, doesn't really connect. Followed by uppercut right hook, again doesn't connect. I think maybe those punches were perhaps to try and deter Walsh from coming forward as well. Maybe, I don't know. That's the end of that round. Again, it's a 10-9. It'd be interesting to see how the judges score this. I mean, I've got it very, very in favor of Hughes. I got him winning every single round. I don't know if the judges would have given Walsh maybe the first round, maybe the round that I thought was quite close, which I think was the 5th or the 6th. You know, maybe they've given Walsh 1 or 2 rounds, but as we approach the 10th round, I've got Hughes up by 9. So yeah, just waiting for the 10th round to start. Have you guys scored those? Have you scored it as biased as I have? I think it's a pretty one-sided fight. I think Walsh has tried to be as competitive as he can. He's tried to come forward as the aggressor. He's just been, unfortunately, he just hasn't, for his sake, he hasn't been able to land. I think it must be frustrating when you've prepared so much for this particular type of fighter and this particular style, and you still aren't able to connect as much as you'd want to. So I understand that Walsh was preparing for Southpaw. I think he sparred with 3 or 4 Southpaws, but unfortunately for him, he just hasn't been very successful with this particular Southpaw. In Hughes, 2 minutes, 15 seconds left for this 10th round. Very much the same as going on that has happened in the previous round. I mean, again, nice right thrown by Hughes. There is still urgency from Walsh. Unfortunately, he might be chasing Hughes around the ring for the next few rounds without much success. I think, I think Walsh needs to try and cut off the ring and take a few risks and maybe get into a bit of a brawl here, because there's no way he's going to win on points in my view. He needs to do something. Both fighters trying to land their own combinations and both missing. I mean, I do wonder why Hughes is. I mean, Hughes is doing a very good job. Obviously, boxing, very technical, beating Walsh to the punch. I do wonder if Hughes needs to exert this much energy, though. He's trying to. He's throwing his own power punches as well, and he's very much comfortably winning this fight. Does he really want to start trying to set up combos and leave himself exposed like this? If he's winning so comfortably, is it necessary? Is it good that he's just continuing to do what he's doing because it's working? He'll really regret it if he ends up eating some heavy punches because he tried to get into a bit of a war in these last few rounds, because he's 100% winning this on points in my view. 45 seconds left this 10th round. Walsh with a nice body shot. It did land. And he has some success with a jab there. And another jab, but Hughes with his own body shot. 25 seconds left. It's a slightly closer round in my opinion. Left and right thrown by Walsh, which misses. Hughes doing a good job keeping low, dodging these punches that Walsh was throwing. 14 seconds left of this 10th round. Stiff right thrown by Hughes. Walsh just edging forward, trying to see if he can land something. Nice body shot. It's the end of that round, 10th round. You know what? That was slightly better. Slightly better in my opinion. But interestingly, he's got a cut on his head, Walsh. Not a particularly good cut. I mean, is that from a head clash? Yeah. Yeah, it's from a head clash. So he's got a cut on his head, Walsh, from a head clash. I was wondering whether it's a punch or something like that. Thought it was unlikely. So yeah, as expected, it was a head clash. Accidental, I'm sure. Another bad thing for Walsh. Because obviously, if the fight is cancelled because of a head clash or something, I mean, Hughes is going to win on points anyway. Cutman doing what he can, rubbing Vaseline into Walsh's head. I think I'll give that to Walsh that round, that 10th round. So I've got Hughes up by 8, and I've given that round to Walsh. So Walsh has won a round on my scorecard, at least one. So 11th round is underway. Ooh, stiff right thrown by Hughes. Another stiff right. Vicious. And Walsh is coming forward, trying the jab, trying a few double jabs, trying to maybe find the range. Left to the body attempt thrown by Walsh, which doesn't connect. Walsh with a left. Hughes staying out of range, circling around Walsh. It's interesting that Walsh never tried to push Hughes to the ropes or do more kind of fighting on the inside. Oh, he does land on the left there, Walsh. So that was better. Maybe Walsh will win some of these later rounds. I mean, we're in the 11th round though, so he really needs to put the foot on the gas. A nice left thrown by Walsh. Well, both fighters kind of on the clinch, but managed to get out of it. Walsh having a bit more success in my view. But Hughes again just doing a good job circling around, staying out of range and so on. Less than a minute of this 11th round. Walsh with a shot to the body. Hughes coming back with his own body shot. Walsh with a right hand. And another right to the body, which does connect, thrown by Walsh. Hughes with a right jab. Both fighters on the clinch. Referee stepping in to break the two up. 25 seconds left this 11th round. Again, both fighters clinching, 15 seconds left. I do think Walsh has had a better round again. Stiff right thrown by Walsh. Hughes just needs to stay, stay in the ring for another round, basically, and he wins the fight. But I'm giving that to Walsh again, a 10-9 to Walsh. I got Hughes up by 7 as we enter this final round. So, I mean, look, on my scorecard, there's no way that that Walsh has won this fight unless he knocks Hughes out. So he needs a KO or a TKO. Because I got Hughes up by 7. So yeah, that's what I suspect is going to be the case. That Hughes is going to win this on a unanimous decision points victory. Unless Walsh does something in this final round, and we're moving into the 12th round now. All right. Final round, both fighters showing respect for each other, touching gloves. 12th round underway. So I'm expecting a lot of urgency from Walsh. I'm expecting him to come forward. Well, which is what he's been doing throughout this whole fight. But I'm expecting him to throw heavier punches. Yeah, so I mean, looking at Tony Bellew's scorecard, he gave 2 rounds so far to Walsh, which is understandable. I've also given 2 rounds to Walsh, although different not identical rounds to the ones that Tony Bellew's been giving. But I've also given 2 rounds to Walsh. 2 minutes 10 left of this 12th round. Let's see if Walsh can claw back another round, although I don't think that would make the fight competitive on a points basis. He really needs a KO or TKO in my view. Walsh nearly getting Hughes against the ropes, but unfortunately didn't work. Nice body shot thrown by Hughes, but Walsh coming back with some punches of his own. Kind of a wild hook thrown by Walsh, which doesn't connect. 1 minute 30 of this 12th round. Jab thrown by Hughes. Another jab thrown by Hughes. Walsh has got 1 minute 10 seconds left to try and change the course of this fight. Hughes doing a decent job clinching. Referee coming in to break up the two fighters. 1 minute left of this 12th round. I don't think either fighter is going to touch the canvas. 50 seconds left of this 12th round. It's been a good fight to watch, I guess. I mean, it's been a very technical boxing fight. There hasn't been really much kind of rough and ready kind of tactics from either fighter. I would have expected Walsh to have tried to rough up Hughes a bit more, especially given the circumstances of where I think he's positioned in this fight. Yeah, 10 seconds left of this 12th round. Referee just telling Hughes to keep up a bit. It looked like he was bending his back forwards. 5 seconds left, and that's the end of the fight. Well, I think that's obviously comfortably Hughes' fight. So that was a 10-9 in favor of Hughes. So I got Hughes up by. Wait, how have I got him up by 8? Wait, sorry, 9, 10, 11. 1 second. Yeah, so basically, I gave 2 rounds to Walsh in that fight in terms of 10-9. I gave two rounds to Walsh. So yeah, I think Hughes has comfortably won this fight on a unanimous decision. We're going to listen in to what the judges think, but I think that was a pretty comfortable victory for Hughes. He was just quicker, landed more, threw more. Didn't really look uncomfortable at any point in the fight. I think Walsh had issues trying to maybe fight a bit more on the inside or back Hughes into the ropes. I mean, he did adopt an aggressive stance in this fight, but he was just not very successful in being able to deliver. So yeah, next fight after this, I think, is the Ebanie Bridges fight. Again, like I said before, I think she lost her last fight, but the judges gave it to her. So, if she again loses the fight, in my view, on points, and the judges give it to her, then something is up, in my personal opinion. But let's not talk about the Ebanie Bridges fight because we're actually still waiting for the results on the Walsh Hughes fight. Although I'm going to be completely surprised if somehow Walsh wins this fight on points. I think it's a clear unanimous decision in favor of Hughes. So I just got my sound on for my Dazn stream to see if to just listen in, see what the result is for this fight, and then I'll read out the points to let you guys know. Guys, I think it's probably a decent time to say please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. It helps the channel grow. Appreciate it. I appreciate you guys tuning in so far. Right, scorecards. 120, 108. 119, 109. 118, 110. Unanimous decision. Obviously, yeah, to Hughes. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. 120, 108. So that must mean not a single round. One of the judges, not a single round they gave to Walsh.
119, 109, and 118, 110, which I think is where I fell on this, which is 118, 110. I mean, I think maybe I was being generous on the 10th round when I gave one of the points to Walsh, but you know, Walsh's efforts, I think, couldn't go unrewarded. I think 120, 108 is maybe a little bit harsh, but I can even see that being the case. You know, a bit of a shutout judge's decision there, but I think 118, 110, 119, 109, I think that sounds very reasonable. It's certainly the case that it was a relatively one-sided fight, unanimous decision for Hughes, so not surprised at all. I gave it 118, 110, I believe. So on the kind of lower end of those judges' scores, I guess, although the scores were only 1 point away from each other anyway, with 118, 119, and 120. So yeah, interesting fight. Expected it to be slightly more competitive. It wasn't. Unsurprising with the judges' score. It is certainly very unanimous. Right, so that's the Walsh Hughes fight. Well done to Maxi Hughes. Well deserved. I'm sure if you're free, Fazan will be, or one of us will be very happy to have you on again to have a chat and see how you found that fight. But yeah, congrats. I mean, I thought that was quite a convincing victory. So yeah, am I surprised? No, I'm not surprised. Let's see what the Ebanie Bridges fight is like, which is the next fight before the main fight, I believe. So I'm just checking my Dazn stream. Yeah, so I mean, so far it's just gone to an advert, so no fight to discuss right now, but I suspect we'll soon be onto the Bridges Maria Cecilia Roman fight. So let's look at the kind of tail of the tape for these two fighters anyway. I think that would probably be a good idea while we're waiting for the two fighters to come into the ring. So let me do that now. So I'm just going to search for Ebanie Bridges on BoxRec. So it's this fight is just looking at the bout statistics. It's a fight for the IBF World Female Bantamweight title, which is which is a big deal, of course, for these two fighters. I'm just checking. Is Ebanie Bridges challenging for this particular title right now? I'm just checking if this IBF title is currently held by Roman. Yes, it is. Yeah. So Ebanie Bridges, I believe, is challenging for this particular title. So if she wins this fight, she's got a belt, which is great for her. So it's a big fight for her to take. Maria Cecilia Roman, she has held this belt for one fight so far, unless I'm mistaken. She got this belt in her last fight against Daniela Barbara Rivero, I believe. Oh, hey Mason, how are you? So yeah, basically we just watched the Ryan Walsh Maxi Hughes fight. Maxi Hughes won by unanimous decision. Judges gave it 120, 108, 119, 109, and 118, 110. And I thought it was a very one-sided fight for the most part. I think Hughes clearly won the fight by points. The current fight that I think is going to happen now is going to be the Ebanie Bridges fight against Maria Cecilia Roman. She's fighting for the IBF World Bantamweight title that I think Roman holds. And then after that is going to be, I believe, the main fight, which is obviously the Kiko Martinez Josh Warrington fight. So yeah, so Maria Cecilia Roman looks like she's held this belt for one fight. Looks like she won the belt in her last fight, it seems. So she's been a champion for not too long. This is a second defense, I think. Let's see how it goes. She's got decent records: 16 wins, 5 losses. Ebanie Bridges with only 7 wins, although just 1 loss. So Maria Cecilia Roman with, I think, a number of rounds under her belt compared to Ebanie Bridges. She's got 140 rounds of experience, whereas Ebanie Bridges only had 43 rounds of experience. The ages are relatively similar. You know, Maria Cecilia Roman's 39, which is on the maybe older spectrum of fighters, but Ebanie Bridges is 35. You know, they're both relatively active fighters. I don't think age is going to have an impact. Maria Cecilia Roman fighting out of Argentina. And then Ebanie Bridges is, of course, Australian. 5'3" is Roman. Ebanie Bridges is 5'1", so Roman is slightly taller. I suspect she's maybe going to have a bit more reach. Ebanie Bridges is orthodox, so is Roman. Nothing else to really report there. Doesn't look like there's any southpaw action in this one. So yeah, I mean, what's my prediction? My prediction is that if it goes, if no one gets knocked out, which I think is probably the likelihood, I don't think people usually get knocked out in this particular type of matchup, especially given that Roman's got a 0% knockout ratio. Although interestingly, Ebanie Bridges does have a 37% knockout ratio, but she's only had 8 fights. So on the assumption that it goes the distance, which I suspect it will do, I think the judges will give it to Ebanie Bridges, regardless of how close or not close the fight goes, which is a pretty rogue statement. But honestly, I think Ebanie Bridges lost her. I think it was the last fight against Milas Gangloff, unless I'm mistaken. I'm just double checking. There's definitely a fight that I think she lost. So I'm just going to check. I mean, the fight ended up being 77-76, her last fight, which obviously is very, very close. Now, I'm pretty sure I scored it a certain way where I didn't have Ebanie Bridges winning the fight, but the judges gave it to her anyway. So, let's see. Let's see how this fight goes. I'm going to score it as objectively as I can. Obviously, I always score fights objectively. But the truth is, Ebanie Bridges is a massive fan favorite. She's a massive fan favorite. And you know, maybe Roman is a fan favorite in Argentina, her home country, but she's certainly not going to be a fan favorite here. I don't think people are going to necessarily care about her compared to the love and support that Ebanie Bridges gets in the boxing world. She has a lot of fans across the world, and she's done a very, very good job of kind of building up her reputation, and that's obviously great for her in terms of her, you know, the kind of the fans that want to see her fight. You know, that's how you can obviously gain a reputation and a fan following, is to do what you can to build those fans. Obviously, this is professional boxing, so she obviously is very good as well. I mean, she's only had 1 loss. She's a good boxer, but I do think she lost one of her recent fights, and you know, the judges gave it to the other, and judges gave it to her anyway. So let's just see how this fight goes. I sound like a massive Ebanie Bridges hater, but I'm not. I honestly am not. I just have a feeling the judges might be biased. So I'm gonna write their names down, get ready to score this. I mean, I think this is a 10. Just double checking, is this 10? Yeah, it's a 10-round fight. So Bridges, Roman, okay. There you go. Just got my little pen and pad ready to score this. Let me know your predictions. Let me know if I'm being a bit too mean, making assumptions that judges are biased in favor of Bridges sometimes. You know, she's challenging for a title. This is a tough competitor to go up against. You know, this is a champion. She's fighting a champion in Maria Cecilia Roman. And you know, Roman's record is solid. You know, for the most part, she has got 5 losses. But I'll tell you what, her 1, 2, 3, 4 of her losses came as her second, third, fourth, and fifth fights. Second, third, fourth, first, second, no, yeah, second, third, fourth, and fifth fights. What I'm trying to say when I make this point is that it looks like Maria Cecilia Roman's the majority of her losses came in 2011, 2012, and 2014. We're in 2022 now. You know, since that fight in 2014, she's gone on to draw and then win 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 fights. Her last loss was in 2021, last year, against Melissa Odessa Parker. And then her next fight afterwards against Daniela Barbaro Rivero, for what I think was the IBF World Female Bantam title. She won that, but I mean, pretty solid in my opinion. Pretty solid record. You know, vast majority of her losses coming in, you know, pre 2014, right? AJ is saying Kiko knocks out Josh. Yeah, I can see that happening. To be perfectly honest. Obviously, I back the. I don't want to say obviously I back the British fighter, but it'd be nice to see the British fighter do well. But I do agree there's a real threat that Josh Warrington is going to get knocked out potentially by Kiko Martinez. I mean, I think Josh has had issues dealing with pressure fighters that are coming forward, fighters that have a good knockout ratio, good punching power, etc., etc. You only have to go as far as the Lara fight, and I do think Warrington was not doing well in the second in the rematch of that fight. Obviously, it was stopped due to kind of accidental head clash. But I thought perhaps we were going to see a repeat of the first. So yeah, totally legitimate comment to make there. I think Kiko is carrying a lot of power, and Josh is going to have to do his best to box his way through that pressure. We'll see how he fares. But currently, what is underway, soon to be underway, is the Ebanie Bridges and Maria Cecilia Roman fight. I'm looking forward to scoring this one as impartial as I can, as unbiased as I can. Yeah, let's see how this goes, and expect a rant from me if Bridges doesn't win this on my own scorecard, but then comes out heavily on top on the judges' scorecard. So, let's see how this one goes. fighters just being announced currently in the ring. Both fighters are in the ring right now. Bridges just getting a massive roar from the crowd as expected. She's got loads of fans across the world. She's done a really good job of getting her name out there across boxing fans worldwide. Let's see if anyone's booing Roman or if just no one really cares. As Roman gets announced right now. Did I just say? Yeah, Roman just getting announced. No one's really booing her, but no one's really cheering as loudly as they did for Ebanie Bridges. I almost heard that someone said the ring announcer said that her seventh defense of her title. I can't imagine that's the case, is it? Oh. Oh, she wasn't defending a title when she fought Melissa Odessa Parker. Okay. Wow. Okay, this is actually her 7th defense. 2, 3, 4. Wow. Okay. Ooh. This is a tough fight for Bridges. I'm not gonna lie. This is a tough fight. I thought she won it in her last fight because she lost one of her fights recently, but no, it seems like she's actually been defending this belt for at least 7 fights. My prediction is Roman on points. All right, first round is underway. Ebanie Bridges coming out pretty strong. Very good use of the jab. Another left jab, left landed. Very active. Nice body work by Bridges as well, to be honest. Oh, nice shots to the body by Bridges. Although Roman looking focused, keeping that guard up. Bridges doing a good job just pecking at Roman. Ooh, trying the uppercut. Although I don't think it was very effective, Bridges. Although Bridges, again, doing a very good job with the leading left hand. Roman with a jab of her own. Bridges just looking much quicker, to be honest. Nice shot to the body by Bridges, followed by more shots to the body. Obviously, these fights are so quick, especially given it's bantam. A lot of activity here. Already less than a minute left of this first round. Obviously, these rounds are much quicker, I think. They're 2-minute rounds. And yeah, Roman not having too much success in this first round, in my opinion. I think this round is going to go to Bridges. Oh, very nice left hook thrown by Bridges. Oh, and Roman coming back with some combinations of her own, but then being met with some combinations from Bridges. I think Bridges is having a much better first round here. I might change my prediction after this first round and actually think that maybe Bridges is it will win this fight. Well, that's the end of the first round. I actually am giving that to Bridges. So I got Bridges up by 1 as we move into the second round. A very interesting first round. I think Bridges came out much quicker. Her speed. She was beating Roman to the punch in many respects. Doing a very good job with the left jab. Nice combinations. She landed more. So yeah, objectively giving her that round. 10-9 to Bridges. Let's see what Roman can produce. I mean, Roman's got 0% knockout ratio, unless I'm mistaken on BoxRec. Bridges is a much higher knockout ratio. So Bridges won that first round on boxing ability. I mean, I think this fight's going to go Bridges' way. Let's see. Right, second round underway. Nice left thrown by Roman. Another left. Bridges, though, poking at Roman's high guard with her jab. Another left thrown by Roman. Yeah, I mean, Roman's high guard making Bridges decide that she wants to go more to the body, it seems, trying to break through that guard with an uppercut, but Roman doing a very good job just keeping those gloves tight. Bridges getting her right hand caught in Roman's gloves there due to the nice high guard that Roman has adopted. It looks like slight neutralization of what Bridges has been trying to do there due to Roman's high guard. It's like she switched on a much more defensive mode in the second round. 1 minute to remain, and Bridges again getting her right glove caught behind the high guard of Roman, although landing more than Roman is, and Bridges with an uppercut which just brushed against Roman, followed by some shots to the body, very effective, or left hook that manages to break through Roman's guard. Maybe Roman's trying to tire Bridges out, potentially keeping that high guard, making Bridges go to the body so that Roman could come forward with something of her own. It's a very interesting tactic that she's decided to employ into this second round, Roman, but I do think she's losing this round. 20 seconds left of the second round. And 10 seconds left this second round. Bridges with a nice shot to the body. Again, the left glove getting caught under Roman's high guard. Roman trying to come back with some left hooks. Yeah, I mean, that's Bridges' round. It's 10-9. We've got Bridges up by 2. Interesting tactic employed by Roman in that second round. I think maybe she's trying to gas Bridges out so that she can take over in the latter rounds, because a lot of energy exerted by Bridges. She's breathing quite heavily already. Roman doesn't look like she's breathing too heavily. She looks very calm in there. But without a doubt, both those first and second rounds going to Bridges, just more activity from Bridges. She seemed to have connected more generally. And although Roman did a good job of just keeping that high guard, and it seemed quite effective from a defensive point of view, and Bridges getting her glove caught behind it, I thought Roman might have capitalized on those moments, but she didn't. Despite those things, Bridges just having more activity, and I think deserving that second round. Third round underway. Let's see if Roman continues this high guard. I mean, Bridges coming out very aggressively. Right hook. Ooh, shots to the body that land. Bridges going on the left. And left to the body. Another left to the body, left upstairs. I think Roman is just maybe to eat an uppercut. Roman with a 1-2, which does connect. But I mean, there's way more traffic coming from Bridges here. Oh my God, vicious combination. Shots to the body, followed by an uppercut thrown by Bridges there. Or another body shot followed by a shot upstairs by Bridges. And another body shot thrown by Bridges. That's the thing. I mean, you keep your guard up high, like Roman is, and you open yourself up to a bunch of body shots. But it looks like she's willing to take it. And, I mean, Bridges doing what she can to break through that guard. A left thrown by Roman. Bridges just trying to push Roman back. I think Roman's trying to engage in a bit more infighting. Inside fighting. Oh, nice stiff left thrown by Roman, but I don't think it's enough to win this round so far. 30 seconds left this third round. Again, I think the activity's mostly coming from Bridges here. That's why I'm likely to give this round to Bridges. Overhand left thrown by Bridges. Shot to the body by Roman. Or hook thrown by Roman that connects, but Bridges come back with a right hook herself. Nice uppercut thrown by Bridges. Nice left hook thrown by Roman in return, though. Looks like Roman's having a bit more success landing. That second round was quite interesting. And Roman with some nice body shots at the end of that third round. I'm still giving that to Bridges because I think she just had
a bit more activity. Roman was unloading a bit more in that fight, which is good. But I think it was a little too late in that round. I think overall Bridges was active enough and landed enough to win that particular round. So I've got Bridges up by 3 as we move into this 4th round. But Bridges has exerted a lot of force, a lot of energy, sorry, and force, but she's exerted a lot of energy. And I have a feeling that maybe Roman was keeping a high guard in that 2nd round to allow Bridges to unleash a lot of punches and maybe to tire herself out. But Roman has taken a lot of body shots in the process, so that probably has drained her. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this 4th round goes, but I think Roman is starting to open up a bit more. Right, 4th round is underway. And Bridges with kind of a wild right, which misses. Roman looking very switched on. Bridges with the overhand right. Bridges with a nice 1-2. Roman with a nice combination, but then being met with Bridges' own combination. Roman with the left. Bridges with the left. Bridges with a nice shot to the body. And nice right hand thrown by Roman. I think Roman's definitely opening up a bit more. Nice shot to the body by Bridges, though. She's done a lot of work so far. Oh, very nice right hook thrown by Roman, but Bridges ate it. And the thing is, Roman's got 0% knockout ratio, so I don't know how this. Don't know whether she's going to be able to deliver a knockout, but a nice right hook thrown by Bridges, followed by a nice left hook. I think Bridges is going to steal this round. Nice body shot by Bridges. Roman just trying to get out of range. Oh, nice right hook thrown by Bridges, followed by uppercut. Although Bridges looking quite tired, in my opinion. The crowd is going a bit wild. I don't know why. Looks like they're looking at something else, or maybe they're singing something. I don't have the sound up. 10 seconds left. Yeah, so, nice right hand by Bridges at the end of that 4th round. It's a 10-9 again to Bridges, in my opinion. As we move into the 5th round. Now, maybe one of the judges scored it one of the first 4 rounds in the way of Roman, but I actually have it all 10-9 rounds to Bridges. I think she's just done a bit more. Maybe to some judges, Roman nicked that final round. But I think Roman is going to have some better rounds going forwards. She seems to be getting better over the course of this fight. I think Bridges is looking tired. She's exerted a lot of energy in the first few rounds. So it'll be interesting to see how this 5th round goes. Right, 5th round underway. Just a lot of feints from both fighters. Roman trying a right hook, which misses. See, there's slightly less activity from Bridges, and Roman is now kind of on the front foot. And it looks like Bridges is happy to kind of allow Roman to try and come forward herself. Nice 1-2 by Bridges. Roman coming forward herself. And Quang saying Roman is going to switch on after round 5. I think that might be the case. I think Roman was slow to start, but is definitely switching on more. And landing some pretty heavy punches right now. I think Bridges is going to get tired over the course of the fight. I mean, there's still 5 rounds to go. And I think she exerted a lot of force in the first few rounds, but I think she comfortably
for the most part won those first few rounds. So I think she's probably going to ride on the fact that she's won those first few rounds and will be able to build enough momentum to win on a points decision. I think, even if Roman ends up winning all the next few rounds. Nice short right thrown by Roman. Oh, nice hook thrown by Roman. Although Bridges with the uppercut. And 20 seconds left of this 5th round. Roman with a nice right hook. Oh, nice right hand by Roman. Oh, uppercut by Bridges though. Oh, and a really good hook thrown by Bridges. My God, there's a lot of activity in this round. And both fighters having a lot of success. I mean, the defense is not there for both fighters. I mean, both fighters punching each other up. There wasn't much defense in that particular round. It's a difficult one to score. I do think, even though Roman is being a bit more effective compared to the previous rounds, I do think Bridges just about edges that. And that's why I'm going to give that round to Bridges again as we move into the 6th round. Although Roman did have success, and I think maybe the judges perhaps gave her maybe 1 or 2 rounds so far. I could see that happening, but on my unofficial scorecard, I've actually got Bridges up by 5, and I've got her winning every round so far. But maybe Roman is going to start taking over at this point. There is a feeling in the back of my head that I think Roman does need to deliver a knockout, but I don't think she's going to be able to deliver one, especially given the fact that I think a knockout ratio is 0. So 6th round is underway. Yeah, I mean, interestingly, looks like Shannon's scorecard, according to the Dazn team, 50-45, all in favour of Bridges. All the rounds keep going to Bridges, which matches up with my own scorecard. Nice 1-2 by Roman there. Nice right hand by Roman. Both fighters just trading. Decent overhand right thrown by Roman, but didn't really land very flush. Nice body shot by Bridges. And another body shot. Quang saying Bridges won 1-5, so she can let Roman win all the rounds and still win on points. I agree. Especially given that she's a fan favorite. I think even if Roman wins every single round from now on, I still think Bridges is going to win this fight because I'm sure the judges will find a round or two to give to Bridges because these are quite competitive rounds. And nice right hook thrown by Roman, but Bridges with a nice left. I mean, Bridges done very well in my opinion. I think she's significantly improved compared to her previous fight. Nice uppercut as well, thrown by Bridges. A nice overhand right as well, thrown by Bridges. I think Bridges is going to take this round as well. And that's the end of that 6th round. Again, it's a 10-9 in my opinion to Bridges. I've been very surprised with how well Bridges has fought. I think she's fighting much better compared to her previous fight. I think she's improved quite a lot. She's done very well on the front foot. I think Roman, given the, I think Roman has done well as well, but hasn't landed as much and hasn't thrown as much as Bridges has, and hasn't necessarily looked as good as Bridges in this fight so far. Not to say that Roman has really suffered and she's taken a lot of heavy shots. I don't think she has, but I just don't think she's done as well as Bridges generally in these exchanges, and it looks like her corner are really trying to pump her up, Roman, as we enter into the 7th round. Bridges probably quite energized after these rounds. I think she's quite pleased with how they've gone, I assume. She's very much, both fighters looking very focused. 1 minute 30 of the 7th round to go. Not too much activity apart from a decent left thrown by Roman. Bridges with a shot to the body. Roman with a shot to the body as well. Bridges with a triple left hook or something like that. I mean, it looked pretty good. But I think part of it was blocked by Roman's high guard. Nice 1-2 by Roman. Stiff left by Roman. Yeah, interestingly, I'm looking at my unofficial scorecard. I realize I haven't given Roman a single round. Decent. Yeah, I mean, Bridges come in with a nice left hook. And, I mean, Roman trying to throw something of her own. But it's just relatively ineffective. And, yeah, I mean, again, Bridges just, I think, beating Roman to the punch in many respects, just having the better of the two in these exchanges. 20 seconds left for the 7th round. Ten seconds left of this 7th round. I'm pretty sure I'm giving this one to Bridges again. I think she's just been better, generally speaking. And it looks like she's actually put Roman in a relatively uncomfortable position in the last 10 seconds. Roman looks pretty spent in terms of her own energy, actually. Unfortunate for her, she just hasn't been able to have as much success. I mean, I'm very impressed with what Bridges has done so far. Hey Demons, we can't show the fight unfortunately due to copyright, but I'm watching this fight on Dazn. Right, moving into the 8th round of this 10 round fight. Still waiting for the 8th round to start. But yeah, I mean it's been very comfortable for Bridges actually. It's only 3 rounds left. I think Roman needs to deliver a knockout. I just think it's unlikely though, given her knockout ratio. Eighth round is underway. Not much activity. There's a decent amount of feints in this first 30 seconds. And I mean, in terms of statistics, 33% landed by Roman, 32% landed by Bridges, which is interesting because I think when you look at the actual fight itself, it just looks like Bridges has done much more. But I mean, nevertheless, Roman just more connecting more in terms of percentages wise. But I think Bridges throwing more than 150 punches compared to Roman. I think that's the main thing. She's just been more active. Roman may have been slightly more accurate, but it's more about activity here in this fight. And Bridges just looks far more accurate. It's 45 seconds left this 8th round. And Roman landed a pretty decent body shot, followed by a nice hook upstairs. Bridges with a nice uppercut. Nice body shot by Bridges. Decent combination by Roman.
10 seconds left. Oh my god, both fighters really just given everything they got in the last 10 seconds of this 8th round. Right, that's the end of the 8th round. A really competitive 8th round. I think I'm gonna give that to Bridges again. I just think she did more. This is looking like a very one-sided fight on the scorecard, but I mean it's been competitive. I just think Bridges had the better of the two in these exchanges. Not to compare it to the previous fight, but again, the previous fight was also relatively one-sided, and here we're getting a relatively one-sided one as well. It's interesting. I was expecting to give a few more points to Roman at some stages of this fight, but we're heading into the 9th round of this 10-round fight, and I've got Bridges up by 8, giving a 10-9 for all these 8 rounds. I mean, I suspect that's what the judges have it as well. I mean, we'll see what the judges come up with at the end of this. Yeah, 9th round underway, and Bridges coming forward. Oh, I feel like she's trying to end this. Maybe Bridges. Oh, nice right hook thrown by Bridges. My God, both these fighters just throwing a bunch of punches in bunches, in such a fast pace to be watching this. Really nice left hook thrown by Bridges amongst all the punches being thrown by both fighters, and Roman kind of holding on, but both fighters managing to break the clinch. I don't think the referee needs to get involved. Yeah. Nice body shot by Bridges. .45 seconds left this 9th round. Left thrown by Bridges there, followed by uppercut, shot to the body. Left hook by Bridges as well. .20 seconds left this 9th round. Uppercut thrown by Bridges. I mean, again, I'm giving this to Bridges again due to activity. I think 10 seconds left. I don't think Roman's done enough. My God, yeah. I mean, Bridges just really fast. Managed to maintain the pace of her punches even into this 9th round. I thought maybe she would have gassed out slightly, but she's done really well in that 9th round. I'm giving her 10-9 again. I'm sure the judges don't have it as a shutout. I've got it as a shutout currently. Just a slow-mo there showing the nice work by Bridges to avoid Roman's punches. Nice head movement, nice shots to the body. She's just been really good throwing the combinations, Bridges, in my opinion. I think this is night and day compared to her previous performance. I think she's been way more effective. Right, we're entering the 10th round. Both fighters showing respect, touching gloves. Right, let's see if Roman can win a round here, so that my unofficial scorecard doesn't look like such a shutout. Bridges with a nice shot to the body. Oh, nice right hook by Bridges. Both fighters just throwing combinations at each other, as is quite common in this bantam category. but I think Bridges having slightly more success. Nice shots to the body, followed by nice combos upstairs by Bridges. Oh, nice right hook by Roman though. 50 seconds left this 10th round. Quite a lot of fighting on the inside here. Bridges just pushing Roman out of the way. Nice right hook thrown by Roman, although eats the uppercut that Bridges throws. 25 seconds left this 10th round. Nice stiff right thrown by Roman amongst all the combinations these fighters are throwing at each other. Nice right hook thrown by Roman as well. And oh, nice right hook thrown by Bridges. And a nice right hook thrown by Roman. That's the end of the fight. I mean, I think I'm giving that round probably to Roman. So after all that, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah. So I've got Bridges winning 9 out of 10 of those rounds on a 10-9, and I've got Roman only winning 1. So I have quite a relatively biased. No, it's not a bias. A relatively one-sided scorecard. I obviously judge this in a very unbiased, impartial way. At the beginning of the fight, just based upon their records, I thought maybe Roman would potentially win this fight. And given what I'd seen of Bridges in a previous fight, I didn't really think that she didn't really expect a performance of this level. I think she's much better compared to her previous fight. And she just was more aggressive, landed more, seemed to have delivered the heavier punches. I think she had a really good fight against Roman, so I think she's going to be taking this belt away. So I mean, on my scorecard, I would have it as I would have Bridges winning every single round other than the final round, which I gave to Roman. So then on that basis, that is 99. And then 9 times 981. 91. So I think my scorecard is 99-91, unless I'm mistaken. I mean, let's see if the judges agree with that or not. It's just gone to a break. I mean, let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty sure Bridges has won this fight. I'm pretty sure she's taken the belt away from Roman. Deservedly so as well, in my opinion. Okay, I'm just listening in. All right, let's listen to these scorecards. Okay. 100 to 91. 97 to 93. 97 to 93. All unanimous decision. Yeah, for Ebanie Bridges, as expected. Well done, Ebanie Bridges. I mean, well deserved. I think she deserved to win that fight. I think it was a clear, unanimous decision. That's what the judges went for. 191, 97, 93, 97, 93. I had it, I think, unless my maths is completely wrong, I had it 99, 91. Yeah, that's what I had it as. Makes sense. Those judges' scores, I think they gave anywhere between anywhere between kind of 1 to 3 rounds for Roman. That kind of fits in with what I thought as well. So yeah, am I surprised by this result? No, it makes sense. Unanimous decision for Bridges. She takes home the IBF World Female Bantam title. Congratulations to her. Upwards and onwards onto the bigger and better fights. Yeah, she was quicker. landed the heavier punches, in my opinion. Threw more combinations. She threw more punches. Yeah, she deserved that. Right. Well, that's the Bridges Roman fight. I guess we're now moving on to the main fight. I'm pretty sure the main fight is the only fight to cover. I'm just grabbing some paper now so that I can actually write a score for this main fight. So we've had some interesting last two fights. I think it's been relatively one-sided, to be perfectly honest, in terms of the fights that I've seen. It was, interesting matchups on paper, looked quite competitive on paper, but then when the fighters have fought, it's been relatively one-sided. So, the Walsh-Hughes fight, I think it was quite relatively one-sided. I had Hughes winning comfortably by unanimous decision, and that's exactly what the judges went with as well. And then this Bridges Roman fight, I had Bridges winning quite comfortably by unanimous decision. It looks like that's what judges have scored too. So let's see if it's a closer fight for the main fight. The main fight is obviously the Martinez, Kiko Martinez, Josh Warrington fight. It's going to be a very, very interesting fight to cover, and I'm assuming this will be a much closer fight than the other fights that we've seen, slightly more exciting in terms of the ups and downs of the fight. I think it's been relatively easy and not particularly complicated to score these last two fights. Quite standard, nothing particularly exciting in terms of any drama or anything like that. So that's how I've been seeing these fights so far. So I mean, let's see if the Martinez Warrington fight delivers something a bit more exciting and mixed in terms of the result. So might as well go through the tail of the tape while we wait for that main fight to get going. Right now they're just interviewing Ebanie Bridges, so we'll just allow that to keep rolling through while I look through the statistics and kind of general box rec information for the main fight. Now, these two fighters obviously have history. They have fought before. So obviously Warrington beat Kiko Martinez back in 2017 by what I think was a majority decision. I think since then Warrington has said that his stock has hey Frankie, how are you? Bridges got on very well. She won her fight quite comfortably by unanimous decision. I think the judges scored it 191, 97, 93, 97, 93. I had Bridges winning all the rounds apart from the final round, so I think she's really improved as a fighter compared to her previous fight. Very well deserved. I was a bit skeptical, to be honest, before the fight started because I don't think she'd performed very well in her previous fight, and I thought maybe the judges shouldn't have scored it in her favor on her last fight that she won. But this fight is night and day, in my opinion. She very, very comfortably won. Fully deserves to win this fight, and happy for her. She's obviously taking home the IBF bantamweight world champion belt. So that's how the Bridges fight went. Well deserved for her. So on the final fight, Martinez Warrington fight. So yeah, as I was saying, guys, there's obviously history between these two. Warrington beat Martinez previously back in 2017. Since then, he said that his stock has improved. He's been fighting more competitive fights since, and in his view, he's much better placed for this fight, even compared to how he was last time they fought. Anyway, so he's, I think, quite comfortable about this fight. This fight gives him an opportunity to compete for a belt as well. So I mean, it's a fantastic opportunity for Warrington. There's some talk that if he doesn't win this fight, maybe he'll have to consider retiring and so on, because of the fact that he's not had the best few fights lately. Obviously lost to Lara, which was a big blow to him. And then the following fight, which I covered, which is Lara Warrington 2, was a bit of a letdown because it was cancelled due to a clash of heads, accidental clash of heads. So that was unfortunate. So there is talk that this is a very big fight for Warrington. This will allow him to be a champion yet again. It's a really big opportunity. Martinez is some people argue that Martinez is doing a really big favor to Warrington to give him this opportunity to fight for a belt. And maybe obviously Martinez wants to avenge the previous loss, and he thinks that he's got the skills to do that. Martinez, of course, delivered a really amazing TKO victory against Kid Galahad in a fight where people were expecting Kid Galahad to win. He was boxing very well, Galahad. I think a lot of people would have had Galahad winning the fight on points until the I think it was the fifth and sixth rounds where Martinez delivered a really, really good overhand right, which knocked Galahad down onto the canvas, followed by another really good overhand right, literally at the beginning, I think, of the sixth round. And it looks like Kid Galahad was unable to learn from the initial knockdown and to prepare for that overhand right and avoid it from happening because it happened so soon in the subsequent round, to be honest. So I think Martinez is coming into this fight as a very heavy-handed fighter. He's got a 54% knockout ratio. Warrington's only got a 21% knockout ratio, but he's obviously such a good boxer. And a lot of his victories coming through points-based decisions. I think this is going to be a very competitive fight. I think Warrington is going to struggle with the pressure that Martinez is able to apply to him. I think Warrington has had issues dealing with fighters that come forward and are heavy-handed. And I think a prime example of that is the issues that Warrington has had with Lara. And personally, I thought that Warrington was not doing particularly well in the Lara rematch. I think the headbutt was I'm not going to say it came as a blessing to him, but I think the headbutt was maybe a collective sigh of relief for people who support Warrington, because I don't think Warrington was looking particularly good. It looked like it was potentially a repeat of the first fight against Lara in that rematch. So I think this fight can only go two ways. So it's either going to go Warrington's way and he's going to win on points, or it's going to go Martinez's way and he's going to deliver a KO or a TKO victory. I don't necessarily see Martinez winning this fight on points. I think it's unlikely. I think Warrington is a better, technically more gifted boxer. So we'll see how this fight plays out. If you had to ask me for a genuine prediction, I would probably lean towards, even though I obviously back Warrington just from a fan point of view, I actually think Martinez has the upper hand, and I think Martinez might deliver a TKO or a KO victory in the mid to late rounds. That's my prediction. What do you guys think? Some of you will disagree with me. Hello, Sayed. How are you? Some of you will disagree with me, but let me know what you think. But I only see it going those two ways. It's either going to be a KO TKO coming from Martinez, or it's going to be a points victory coming from Warrington. That's how I'm going to see it, and I think it's going to be in Martinez's favor. I think Warrington has suffered a bit too much from the Lara fights. So yeah, that's my prediction. And if we just compare these two fighters' records, I might as well do that as well, because the fight hasn't started yet. So Martinez has 43 wins, 10 losses, and 2 draws. Warrington has 30 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw. Martinez 36, Warrington 31. I don't think there's too much in the age difference.
5'5" Martinez, 5'7" Warrington, so slightly more height, slightly more reach as well, with Warrington with a 67-inch reach and Martinez with a 66-inch reach, according to BoxRec. But I think the main difference here is 54% knockout ratio held by Martinez against a 21% knockout ratio held by Warrington. I think that's the main thing. Good to know, Sayed. Hello, Dr. Bumper. What are you watching right now, bro? Well, so far nothing. But I think in a few moments it's going to be the main fight, which is the Martinez-Warrington 2 fight. The previous fights were Ebanie Bridges versus Roman. Ebanie Bridges won, unanimous decision. And then before that, it was Ryan Walsh against Maxi Hughes. Maxi Hughes won quite comfortably, in my opinion, and he won by unanimous decision. But the next fight, which I think is the final main fight, it must be, is the Martinez-Warrington 2 fight, which hopefully is going to be the most competitive fight to watch because, I enjoy watching fights. I think if fights are particularly one-sided, it becomes it's still interesting to watch, but you kind of know what's going to happen, and you kind of see where the fight's going already. Unless there's some sort of twist or turn, it's not as I guess being objective, it's not as exciting, to be honest. I'm hoping this one is going to be more competitive, and there's going to be a few twists and turns in it just for the sake of the entertainment value. But I don't think it really matters anyway to these two fighters. These two fighters are not interested in necessarily putting on a show. Obviously, they will put on a show, but I think these two fighters are at a pivotal moment in each of their careers where whoever loses, it might be a big factor on where they consider their careers to move on to next. And if they win this fight, then it opens up a significant amount of opportunities for them, mainly because of the fact that a belt is at stake, and both these fighters are, respectively, not necessarily super young. There's talk of retirement, I think, from some people with respect to Warrington. So it's just something to keep in mind, basically. Yeah, Frankie saying Josh needs a KO statement at this point in his career. Yeah, I think this is a big fight for him. I think he needs to be able to show people that he's still here in the division, and that he's still ready to take on big fights and to continue to compete at this international level for belts and for glory and all that jazz. So yeah, I mean, this is a big fight for each of them. Fight for the IBF World Feather title, which Martinez is currently holding. Martinez obviously had a fantastic moment in his previous fight in order to take this belt, and yeah, he's hoping to continue this momentum and to build upon it. I think his coach called him one of the best Spanish fighters in history or something along those lines, which is quite an impressive thing for someone to say about you, I guess. If you're a Spanish fighter, say you're basically the best Spanish fighter in history. I think that's what his coach said about him. But he certainly is very experienced and has a very good record under his belt, and he's definitely got a very good chance in this fight. I think it's worth noting that both the fighters are fighting in Yorkshire, England, which is where Josh Warrington hails from. He's from Yorkshire, specifically from Leeds. He's obviously dubbed the Leeds Warrior. So he's got the whole crowd behind him, and I think that's a big factor. Although, unless I'm mistaken, he fought Lara in Warrington Lara 2, also in
also in Yorkshire, but I actually don't think it necessarily had that much of an impact on his performance because, as I said earlier, I actually don't think he was doing too well in that rematch fight. So I mean, let's see how it goes. The whole crowd's behind him anyway. It's I don't want to call it a make or break fight for Warrington, but it's a very, very, very big fight for him. And I really think if he wins this fight, opens up a lot of opportunities for him, and he can continue some of the aims and ambitions he had for his kind of career on a more kind of international level. He can continue to fight at the highest level, and if he loses, I think it's relatively premature why people are thinking that he should retire and so on. But if he loses, maybe he is actually considering to reconsider whether he wants to continue his boxing career, whether he thinks he's spent or past his prime or something along those lines. I certainly don't think he believes that. So yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to score this one. It'd be interesting to see if it goes the distance. Let's see. Both fighters, I think, are going to be entering the ring soon. Looks like Warrington's actually starting to walk out, so I think he'll be coming out shortly. Yeah, looks like Warrington's about to walk out. And yeah, well, I mean, Warrington's just walking out now into the ring. Obviously, a massive crowd favorite. Let me know your predictions. Yeah, I want to know what you guys think, how this fight's going to go. I think it's a very competitive one. Hopefully more competitive than the previous fights that we've seen. David Diamante announcing the fighters as he does. Right, ring announcers just... It's going to be announcing Warrington's opponent soon. Warrington's now in the ring. I'm just gonna get my little score sheet sorted so that I can score this one. He looks quite comfortable, confident in there, Warrington, in the ring. Martinez is about to come out soon. Really packed crowd. Looks like really good attendance here. Really good vibes for Warrington as well. But you know, I mean, even if the crowd is behind you, you still need to perform well. And I think, you know, I think the Lara 2 fight is an example of that. I mean, it's you know, despite the fact the crowd is with you, you won't necessarily win, of course. Just gonna check actually. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so the Lara 2 fight was in Leeds, right? But again, up until I mean, it was only the second round anyway when it ended up having to be called off. But I had Lara, I think, winning those rounds up to the point where the fight had to get called off. despite the fact that the fight was obviously in Leeds. So we'll see. We'll see. I mean, Martinez is probably very comfortable coming in and fighting in someone else's territory. Obviously, fought Kid Galahad in Sheffield. Didn't really have any impact on him. Still managed to deliver a really wonderful TKO victory. So it's really about these two fighters and their abilities at the end of the day. And I think, I have a feeling Martinez will edge it. We'll see though. Frankie's asking in Lara 2, who do you think was going to win? I actually thought Lara was going to win. And again, I'm relatively I'm relatively objective and impartial, regardless of who I want to win. I try and score things and analyze as best as I can from a impartial perspective, because otherwise, what's the point of watching these fights? Like, obviously, there's someone that you want to win, and that's cool. But if you're trying to like score something and analyze how the fight is doing, you have to be as objective as possible. And even though I might want Warrington to win this fight, I actually think Martinez will probably edge it. But as soon as the fight starts, if it ends up being the case that Warrington's doing well, I'm obviously going to score it in his favor. But I thought Lara was going to win that fight personally, and it looked like he was doing much better compared to Warrington in that second fight. And I remember when I was streaming this, there were a lot of people who were Lara fans who were saying that Warrington actually purposely headbutted Lara. And I actually don't know if that's the case or not. I suspect not, but it was actually quite funny reading some of the comments at that time where folks were saying that Warrington had tried to deliver a tactical headbutt to try and win the fight. Yeah, guys, if you could like and subscribe, it always helps the channel grow. We appreciate it, trying to deliver unbiased, impartial commentary to the extent that we can. But I'd like to see Warrington win this fight. I just think it's going to be really tough for him. Jesus Garcia Perez saying something in, I believe, Spanish. I'm not sure what that says. I apologize. I'm hoping that it's not something. Maybe it's not something bad. But more than happy to represent your views on quality shot. And thanks for tuning in so far. I assume you're supporting Martinez in this fight. So yeah, good luck to your boy. Right, let's see. Is Martinez in the ring right now, or are we still waiting for? Oh no, it's the. I just turned my sound on. I think it's the UK national anthem. Yeah, it's just the British national anthem that's playing right now. Pretty sure they wouldn't play the British national anthem without both fighters being in the ring, right? Why would you play your anthem and you're just the only person in the ring? It doesn't make sense. Like, I'm pretty sure. I'm just gonna listen in and see if Martinez is even in the ring. Oh yeah, Martinez is of course in the ring. Yeah, so they're playing I think the Spanish national anthem right now. I hope no one's booing it. Yeah, it looks like no one's booing the Spanish national anthem. I always get annoyed when people boo other people's national anthems. Just let them sing their national anthem. It doesn't make any sense. Like, have some respect. It's like people never really boo the British national anthem, and if they do, it's disrespectful. But people hardly ever do it. So I always get confused when people boo other people's national anthems when other people have been respectful for your own national anthem. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. Tailor the tape. I've already gone through that, guys. But yeah, the main thing to really mention here: 55% knockout ratio for Martinez versus 22% knockout ratio for Warrington. I think the biggest factor is the knockout ratio, in my personal opinion. And Martinez has a very, very good chance if he lands those heavy shots that he managed to land against Kid Galahad. And boy, were they heavy. The overhand rights in particular, he really needs to watch them, Warrington. I'm sure Martinez won't just be throwing overhand rights, so he's probably got a proper game plan for this fight, and maybe he's going to be utilizing another type of punch that he's quite good at using. But that overhand right, just watch that overhand right. That is a difficult punch. I see Salvador Miguel Gutierrez Ocon saying something. I assume responding to Jesus in the comments. I'm not entirely sure what that is about, but I think you guys are having a chat. Maybe about where can I see this? And this is me just guessing. I'm watching this on Dazn. I think it actually is to do with where can I watch this on Dazn. That's where I'm watching it. I assume Dazn must be in America. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's an American company. So, yeah, Dazn. I rate Dazn pretty relatively affordable subscription, in my opinion. Loads of content, loads of fights. You just pay a subscription and you can watch, I think, all the fights that they show on Dazn. So, in my opinion, it's pretty good. And if there's other sports you like watching, well, you've also got Dazn for that as well. I think they're making big strides. Dazn. They've managed to capitalize, I guess, in the sports world to be able to show a number of different sports in a number of different countries through the subscription service. And I think, that model does to some extent challenge things like box office and so on. Hey Salvador, thank you for confirming my understanding, which I assume he was asking where can I see this fight? Yeah, so at Dazn, I agree. I think I'm not sure if it's showing on any other shows, but yeah, I'm watching it on Dazn as well. All right, both fighters obviously in the ring. The national anthems are done. I think it's going to be an interesting fight. I'm hoping it's going to be an interesting fight after watching quite a few one-sided ones. Let's see how it goes. Everyone needs to still clear the ring. And once they do that, the fight will be underway. What's it going to be? Revenge or repeat in this Martinez Warrington 2 fight? Pick your winners, guys, if you haven't already, and let me know what you think the result will be and how it will be delivered. Do you think it's going to be points? Do you think it's going to be a knockout? Who's going to be delivering it? Who's going to win? I think if I had to make a prediction, even though I want Warrington to win, I think mid to late rounds, Martinez, KO or TKO. I just have a feeling he's just not going to give a damn. He's just going to come forward and throw heavy. And Warrington needs to deal with that for a whole 12 rounds. And I think Warrington's had a lot of issues dealing with that type of pressure, especially recently with the Lara fight. And I suspect Martinez has been studying that, realized that Warrington might be not necessarily at the best moment in his career, and thought this is a great opportunity for me to defend my title against someone who's quite well known, and also to try and get revenge against this guy who beat me previously. So let's see. Frankie's saying he thinks it's going to be Josh via KO victory. Interesting. Right, both fighters in the center of the ring, and fight is underway. And my stream was super behind. Okay, yeah, first round underway. Now I'm up to date at least. Really weird. This looks like Martinez was complaining about something, but it looks like it's okay now. Maybe he's complaining about a head clash, I don't know. But Warrington looking pretty strong in there, to be honest. Looking quite quick. Martinez throwing and that. Wait, what the frick? Martinez's eye. What the frick happened to his eye? Wait, what the hell is going on in this fight? Martinez on the floor. He's already scored. Mate, I missed something, mate. I have no idea what the hell is going on. Warrington is absolutely smashing Martinez right now. I think there was a knockdown at some stage. There's blood coming out of the eye of Martinez. There's 20 seconds left this first round. What the frick? There's a timeout from the referee who wants to check his eye. Was there a head clash? Oh, there's... Wait. I have no idea what the hell is going on. I'm going to have to rewind at some point. 20 seconds left of this first round. Can someone tell me what's happened? I'm sure there's going to be a recap, but there's 20 seconds left of this first round, and I think Martinez has delivered a knockdown. There's so much blood coming out of the left eye of Martinez right now. Sorry, Warrington's delivered a knockdown. There's so much blood coming out of the eye of Martinez. It's like 5 seconds left this first round. What the hell? Right, I'm turning my sound on to understand what the heck just happened. Oh, okay, it looks like Warrington had a really, really good first round. And I think he scored a knockdown. And Martinez is completely bleeding out. Okay, so there's an overhand right, followed by a very good left hook thrown by Warrington. And then a really nice short right hand, which knocked Martinez down. What I don't understand is when did the blood start pouring out? Ew, what the heck? Anyway, whatever. I mean, it's a 10-8, I'm sure. I mean, was it one knockdown, guys? I'm not gonna rewind because I'm not gonna fall behind on the stream now, but super weird. Right. Okay. Anyway, second round is on the way, and I think Warrington's gonna try and finish this already. Which is mad. He's come out with that for absolute war. I have a feeling that he's gonna keep trying to capitalize that super bad cut on Martinez's left eye, and he's ripping forward with some crazy combos right now. Oh, really, really vicious right hook thrown by Warrington. Man, Warrington's trying to finish this. Oh my god, man. I don't think Martinez is going to last unless he starts clinching. Martinez looks really, really out of place right now. I mean, it looks like Warrington had a fantastic first round. 2 minutes left this second round. And well, so far the fight is just fainting. It looks like Martinez having a bit of a breather, but wow, bunch of amazing combinations thrown by Warrington there, and the crowd is obviously going mad. Really, really bad cut by Martinez's left eye. Probably one of the worst first rounds he could have imagined having. And I think there was controversy because maybe Warrington punched after a clinch or something like that. But anyway, we're past that. The referee is warning Warrington about elbows, I think. 1 minute 20 of the second round. I've got my sound off again, just so that I can listen in without hearing the crowd and so on. So 1 minute 10 of this second round. I think so long as Martinez stabilizes himself and manages to get past and recover from what was seemingly a really horrible first round, he might be still in this fight. But Warrington looking to end this fight early. Really nice uppercut delivered by Martinez, but really nice combinations thrown by Warrington in return. And Warrington trying to rip through with those really heavy hooks, really having significant success, throwing a right hook followed by a left hook. 35 seconds left of the second round. I'm going to give it to Warrington at this stage. Really nice short left hook. Martinez, I mean, the referee looking very, very closely at Martinez, looking super closely. The referee might even step in and try and stop this, which would be horrible because I think Martinez shouldn't. It looks still perfectly fine at this stage, but he's almost looking like he's going to try and stop the fight. But I mean, Martinez very comfortably on the back of the with his back against the ropes, throwing himself. as well. I mean, Martinez looks really flustered. That's the end of the second round. That's obviously a 10-9 round to Warrington. So, I mean, at this stage, I got Warrington up by 3, unless there was a double knockdown in the first round. I mean, do you guys know, was there a double knockdown in the first round, or was it just one knockdown? I'm assuming it was just one knockdown, so it's 8-10 in the first round. But yeah, I mean, Warrington really having a lot of success with those hooks, especially just throwing combinations. I mean, the hooks and the uppercut, he just had a lot of success there. Martinez, however, comfortable to fight with his back on the ropes. So that's good for him that he's not out of this fight, and maybe he'll be able to recover now. But the referee was looking at him super closely at the end of that second round. Third round is underway. Well, this is a super exciting fight. Martinez adopting the aggressor in this third round. Hopefully for him, he's recovered. I mean, Josh Warrington having a fantastic first round, followed by a very successful second round. I'm sure he's got a lot of confidence. Not only that, but Martinez is obviously bleeding out quite a lot from his around his left eye. Sustained a really bad cut. You know, query if that cut was due to a scoring punch or whether it was a headbutt. But from what I understand, from what I could gather from the highlights of the first round, I suspect it was from a scoring punch somehow. Nice right hook thrown by Warrington, although Martinez still pushing forward now. Potentially recovered from that horrendous first round. Martinez with the overhand right, but Warrington doing a good job blocking it. Warrington keeping his guard high, pecking at Martinez with a left jab followed by a right. Martinez trying a right hook, but Warrington managing to keep the distance. Martinez with the overhand right. I'm sure he's going to try and use that overhand right again. I mean, so effective in the last fight that he had. Oh, Warrington with a nice right hook. Warrington with a stiff left jab. 1 minute left of the third round. Martinez still coming forward. Martinez with the overhand right, which just misses. Warrington managing to get out of the way. A lot of blood still around Martinez's left eye, and there's a lot of blood on his shoulder as well. Well, I mean, a really horrible first round he had. And 45 seconds left of this third round. Warrington trying to 1-2, but Martinez getting out of the way. I mean, a lot of blood streaming down his eye there. I mean, we really don't want to see a no contest situation or something like that. I mean, but if Warrington continues to manipulate this left eye and continues to poke at it, and it goes as several rounds, maybe the medical examiner will step in and stop the fight. I'm just calling it. Oh, nice overhand right, though, by Martinez. 10 seconds left this third round. A nice uppercut by Martinez as well. And that is the end of the third round. I'm going to give that round to Martinez, actually. I think he had a good round there, in my personal opinion, although that still means Warrington is up by 2. I just think he had the more effective punches landed. He landed some pretty eye-catching power punches. So yeah, I gave him that particular round. I gave him round 3. Moving on to round 4. But yeah, guys, I mean, how are you finding this fight so far? I mean, do let me know what you think about the first round. I mean, I think it was a 10-8. I don't know if it was a double knockdown because, again, my stream messed up at the beginning. It's so funny. I refreshed my Dazn stream only to find that these fighters were already hacking at each other. don't know why MHTV is saying round 6. As in, we're not on round 6, are we? I'm seeing round 4 right now. Unless I'm completely behind. Like, let me know if I'm completely behind right now. I'm seeing round 4. So round 4 is underway on my stream, unless I'm completely behind, and then actually round 6 is underway. Let me know, guys. So 2 minutes 30 of this 4th round. And yeah, I mean, Martinez still coming forwards. Oh, okay. MHTV saying I predict around 6 KO. No worries, man. No worries. Sorry, I was getting paranoid initially whether I was getting paranoid whether my stream's completely cocked up, because basically for the first round it was like half a minute left when I refreshed it. So I missed out on the first knockdown actually, which is annoying. Both fighters just giving each other quite a lot of power punches right now. I think Warrington is going to do whatever he can to manipulate that left eye. 1 minute 45 left of this 4th round. Referee's just looking super close while Martinez is against the ropes. I think it's completely unnecessary. I mean, Martinez looks pretty comfortable in there fighting against the ropes, to be honest. I mean, I don't want to see a premature. I do not want to see a. Wait, what is this? Mate, I was about to think the referee was about to stop this fight. I was going to get really annoyed, but instead he was warning Warrington about head clashes, which is fine. 1 minute 20 left this 4th round, but I'm sure Martinez is comfortable dealing with this pressure. I would really get annoyed if there was an early stoppage. So around 1 minute left this 4th round. Nice overhand right by Martinez. I think the fight is starting to potentially go into Martinez's favor. He's having the better of the two in these exchanges, I believe. Warrington had such a successful first round, though. Although Warrington doing a good job of just getting Martinez against the ropes and ripping in with some good body shots, to be fair. Martinez currently against the ropes, and Warrington going to town. Fendi saying put Lara in and he smokes both. Yeah, maybe, maybe. Yeah, Lara's pretty good, man. 15 seconds left this 4th round. Again, just so much blood coming down Martinez's left eye. And yeah, Warrington not necessarily having the best round, although to be honest, I think the pressure that Warrington delivered, he went to work when he had Martinez against the ropes. I'm probably giving that round to Warrington. So I've got Warrington up by 3 as we move into this 5th round. So I scored it, I think it was a 10-8 in the first round, I'm pretty sure. Hello, Sayed. No one has won right now. The fight's still going on. We're moving on to the 5th round. So I think I had it 10-8 for Warrington in the first round because I think there was a knockdown, a double knockdown. I think there's a knockdown and not a double knockdown. The second round, 10-9 to Warrington. Third round, I had 9-10 to in favor of Martinez. So I had Martinez winning it 10-9. And then 4th round, I gave that to Warrington. So I've got Warrington up by 3. The cut man needs to get to work here. I mean, there's so much blood still streaming down Martinez's eye. I do fear for Martinez that I do fear for him that the medical examiner is going to step in and stop the fight, and that Warrington will win as a result of that. But you know, look, if the cut is caused by a scoring punch, then it's completely deserved anyway. But it'd be very unlucky for Martinez if the fight gets stopped due to the cut. But knowing Warrington's going to manipulate that as much as he can. Obviously, the cut is going to have an impact on Martinez's vision. 2 minutes 20 left this 5th round, and as a result of that impact on his vision, he's going to be slightly slightly more challenged in trying to deliver these heavy power punches that I'm sure he wants to deliver here in this fight. Warrington with a nice right. Oh, Warrington with a nice combination. Or nice uppercut by Warrington as well. And he's doing whatever he can to manipulate those cuts that Martinez has, and there's blood streaming down Martinez's nose. Martinez trying a looping left hand, which misses. Warrington doing a good job staying out of range. Warrington just pecking at Martinez. Pecking at that cut. Nice stiff left hand thrown by Warrington. 1 minute 30 left this 5th round. Nice right hook thrown by Warrington, and it does shake Martinez. Just shook him off balance there. This is going completely opposite to what I predicted, and that's perfectly fine. 1 minute left of this 5th round. Nice short right hook thrown by Warrington. Both fighters trying to do a bit of inside fighting there. Nice left hook thrown by Warrington. Martinez still coming forward though. Happy to come forward as the aggressor. Blood streaming down his left thigh, not causing too much of an issue, it seems, for Martinez. He still looks confident. Still looks like he could deliver a powerful blow. Does land a nice body shot, Martinez, as he comes forward. 20 seconds left this 5th round, though, and I think Warrington's done more work than Martinez, however. A lot of blood certainly streaming down Martinez's eye. 5 seconds left of this 5th round. That's the end of the round. I'm giving that round to Warrington. So 10-9 round to Warrington. I got Warrington up by 4. I do think this is one of those fights where Martinez does need to deliver a knockout in order to win this fight. I think it's unlikely he was ever going to win on points. I think it's even more unlikely he's going to win on points, especially given the knockdown earlier in the fight, at the beginning of the fight. He's got blood pouring down his eyes, which means the longer the fight goes, the more Warrington manipulates that, the more likelihood the medical examiner will call off the fight. And I think because it was due to a scoring punch, it's likely that Warrington would therefore win the fight. So it's not looking good for Kiko Martinez right now. I really think he needs to deliver a KO, TKO victory as soon as he can. And his cut man really needs to go to work to prevent this cut getting any worse. I think time is of the essence. We're in the 6th round. Referee, I'm just going to listen. Yeah, referee asking for the doctor to have a look at Martinez. The doctor better not call this off. Martinez does not want to end this fight. Okay, there you go. So fighters will be fighting. The doctor has blessed the blessed this cut that Martinez has. Still considers him fighting fit. 6th round is underway. Oh, nice sharp left hand thrown by Warrington, followed by another left hook. Really nice. Oh yeah, so it looks like the first round, guys, was a 10-8 round, so it's just one knockdown. Tony Bellew has every single round going to Warrington, and obviously the 10-8 round to Warrington. Makes sense. I think I've only given 1 round to Martinez so far. 2 minutes 20 of this 6th round. Yeah, Martinez needs Kiko needs a knockout. In my opinion, Kiko needs a knockout. Nice right hook thrown by Warrington. Warrington with a 38% accuracy with his punches. Martinez with 19% accuracy, so double the accuracy by Warrington. And Warrington doing a good job of accurately jabbing at that cut, continuing to open it up,
Continuing to manipulate that cut there, cause as much bleeding as he can. See if the doctor can step in, for example. 1 minute 30 left of this 6th round. Martinez currently against the ropes, and the wait a minute. Okay, no, again, the referee just examining very closely. I always think the referee's going to stop the fight, but he hasn't. Instead, just warning Warrington about head clashes, which I think is very reasonable, especially given some of the head clashes that Warrington has had in some of his previous fights. Obviously, very common with head clashes. Given the fighting style, these fighters like to fight on the inside a lot. It seems. 1 minute left, the 6th round. Martinez trying to uppercut, but Warrington very much out of range. 50 seconds left the 6th round. I think so far Warrington has had the better of the two in these exchanges in this round. It's just been really effective with the hooks. He's just looked quicker as well. Again, the referee's saying, watch your heads, watch your heads. The worst thing right now would be a head clash, and the head clash smashing open Martinez's cut even more. And once again, blood streaming down the nose of Martinez. Obviously, the cut not emanating from the nose, though it's around the eye, but his own nose is covered in blood. 15 seconds left the 6th round. Decent uppercut by Martinez. Warrington with a straight jab through the guard of Martinez. And Martinez trying to throw a left hook and missing. Again, it's a 10-9 to Warrington, in my opinion. I got Warrington up by 5. As we move into the 7th round, I mean, Martinez needs to deliver a knockdown or something like that. Otherwise, he's not winning this fight. But who would have thought that the knockdown would have come from Warrington and not Martinez in this fight so far? I think Warrington's also done very well, just pushing Martinez against the ropes, putting his own pressure onto Martinez, who otherwise I assume would have preferred to have been the aggressor. And some of Martinez's signature types of power punches, like the overhand right that he was so effective at in his previous fights, hasn't seemed to have been particularly effective in this one. Frankie's saying, and the new ×2, of course, referring to the fact that if Warrington wins this fight, wait a minute, medical examiner getting called in again, doctor getting called in again. Yeah, Frankie referring to the fact that obviously if Warrington wins this fight, he gets another. He wins the title for the 2nd time. Doctor taking a look at just saying that Martinez looks fine. Every single time Martinez is being checked by the doctor, it's another reminder to him probably that I better finish this fight as soon as possible because they keep checking up on my cut. 7th round underway. Can Martinez deliver a power punch to change this fight? Can he deliver a heavy punch? Can he knock down Warrington? Let's see. Warrington so far looking very, very good in this fight. Very much in control. And doing a great job of just going for that cut that Martinez has. Staying out of range. Nice right hook thrown by Warrington. I think he's just making use of the fact, nice combination thrown by Warrington. I think he's just making use of the fact that obviously that cut has probably blinded Martinez in many respects. Or another right hook by Warrington, really good. But Martinez coming back with a left to the body. Another beautiful right hook by Warrington. He's really starting to rip forward with several hooks in a row. 1 minute 50 of this 7th round remaining. Just Warrington looking very comfortable in the ring right now. Nice right hook by Warrington again. Stiff left thrown by Warrington, which connects. I think Martinez is going to have to take a few risks, even though he must be blinded. He is pawing at his cut. He is trying to push the blood out of his eye using his gloves. A nice up, I think a pretty good overhand right that Martinez managed to throw, but Warrington took it. 1 minute left this 7th round.
Ooh, oh, very nice hooks thrown by Warrington, and the referee's looking very closely. Martinez against the ropes. Is Martinez going to be able to withstand this? The referee's looking super close. Referee steps in, stops the fight. TKO victory by Warrington, round 7. Didn't predict it. I didn't predict that. Very, very well done by Warrington. Wow. And it's all over. A fantastic performance by Warrington. I actually didn't expect him to. I wasn't expecting this. I expected Kiko Martinez to have um, a bit more success in the mid rounds and utilize his power, but no. Really fantastic performance by Warrington. Fantastic performance. And you could see how much it means to him. I think he's crying right now in the ring. He's won a title for the second time and the new ×2. He's done it in front of his home fans who are absolutely elated for him. And 100% deserved to win. I mean, I would have given him that a 10-9 for that final, but obviously he's won the fight. But I had him up by 5 up until the 7th round. I think he won every single round other than the 3rd round, which I gave to Kiko Martinez. He obviously had a fantastic first round, which I partially missed, which sucks, but I'll review it again later on. But he had a fantastic first round where he caused a really bad cut to Martinez around his eye and also delivered a knockdown, of course. I mean, this is an amazing performance by him. Martinez obviously completely shattered. Maybe regretting the decision of giving Warrington the this fight after winning the title so soon. But my God, what an amazing performance by Warrington! Thoroughly deserved, and it really is the type of performance that reignites someone's boxing career, in my opinion. And Fendi's saying, "Wow, he looked amazing." I agree. Frankie's saying the performance Josh needed to look like he delivered. I agree. I think this was a fantastic performance by Warrington. He completely delivered. He was quick. I mean, those hooks were vicious. The combinations were vicious. He did a really good job of picking those punches and using that jab really effectively to manipulate the cut that Martinez had suffered. And Martinez obviously just could not. He had issues with visibility, probably lots of blood in his eye. Warrington saw the blood and decided to keep pushing forward. Managed to get Martinez against the ropes several times. Managed to deliver quite a few heavy-handed body punches in the process. And obviously, the referee was looking very closely at times when Martinez was against the ropes and Warrington was landing those combinations, and obviously decided to step in. I think the stoppage is deserved. I don't think Martinez was throwing back at those points. I was worried that there might be an early round stoppage. There wasn't. He deserved that stoppage. He deserved to win. I think he had a really good performance. Not what I predicted. I predicted Martinez to be able to deliver a bit more. I was expecting, the types of power punches that he managed to put forward in the previous fight with Kid Galahad. But hey, all credit to Warrington. Fantastic performance. He's very much still within this this division and takes home this featherweight title. He's certainly not going to retire. He looks fantastic, to be honest, in that fight. Frankie's saying maybe he learned a thing or two from Lara potentially. You know what I want to see now? I genuinely want to see Lara 3. I want to see Warrington Lara 3. I really think those two fighters should fight again. I'm hoping that he'll give Lara the opportunity to fight him again, because he dealt so well with someone who's a pressure fighter, who's a power puncher. He dealt really, really well with him, and managed to give back his own in the process. In fact, knocked his opponent down and managed to take a TKO victory home with him. So yeah, fantastic performance. Martinez obviously gutted Kiko leaving the
leaving the ring. Yes, Salvador. Unfortunately, Kiko's lost the fight. Technical KO, TKO victory, round 7 to Warrington. Yeah, fantastic performance by Warrington. Let's see what his next fights are. Thoroughly deserved, very interesting fight to watch. It was one of those fights where it was competitive. I don't think it was super one-sided. Well, actually, you know what? It was one-sided. It was competitive at points because there's always the potential that Kiko had the power there. But I thought it was a super exciting fight because it wasn't just one of those fights where technically you're being outboxed, but I mean, it was vicious. It was vicious. I mean, those hooks were vicious. I mean, just replaying right now what I'm seeing just before the stoppage. You know, the fact that Warrington had Martinez against the ropes there, was just delivering those absolutely vicious hooks. It was just too much. It was too much for Kiko. Frankie saying, yeah, they need to set that Lara Josh 3 next. I agree. I really think they need to do Warrington Lara 3 because again, from Warrington's previous performance against Lara, I didn't think he was winning. So during that fight, I mean, there's only 2 rounds anyway. But I'd love to see Warrington Lara 3. I don't know if Warrington should take Warrington Lara 3. I mean, he's on such a high after beating Martinez and taking a belt back that I don't know whether he should take Lara immediately for Warrington Lara 3 or whether he should do something else. I mean, obviously he's going to check with Eddie, and I'm sure Eddie's going to tell him what he should go for. I'm just going to listen into the interview. Let's see what Warrington's saying for the interview, and then we'll wrap up. Crowd's obviously elated for their boy. Warrington just saying getting the belt back was for the whole crowd. Obviously, crowd cheering. Very happy for Warrington. I think maybe Warrington was spurred on by the crowd as well. It really helped him in terms of the energy. Warrington saying that he's more than happy to have his home fans in the arena, and that he prefers that to having 100,000 tourists somewhere else watching his fight. I think he was referring to like AJ Fury fights, for example, all the massive kind of mega fights where you fill up even larger arenas, which is fine. Yeah, fair dues. I mean, this is his own local people's. I'm sure that motivates him. But let me just see if he's going to say anything about his views on how the fight went. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to say what we expect him to say, which is that he dominated. It looks like Warrington's not going to speak any further, though. Yeah, I don't think Warrington's going to speak because he has a jaw issue or something like that where he isn't able to talk very much. So I don't think Warrington's going to say anything else. If that is the case, we'll just listen to Eddie. Listen to Eddie Hearn, who's currently not being booed. Let's see what Eddie says about his future. Eddie just praising the crowd. Fine. Fair dues. The thing is, I think, it's obviously well, I said it wasn't particularly well,
I said that just because you have the crowd behind you doesn't mean that you're gonna win a fight. But I'm sure it has a significant psychological impact on a fighter. And when Warrington does fight in, whether it's Leeds or whether it's Yorkshire generally, I think it really helps him because he's got his own fans in there to support him, and it must boost his confidence. Oh, he is speaking again. Yeah, I don't think Warrington's talking about the how the fight went. I think he's just having a good time with the crowd, really. Oh, he's saying he wants to go to the United States to have a fight there. Oh, he's saying let's have an away day. It looks like he wants to go to the States. Let's see what Eddie says. Okay, Eddie's saying to the crowd, these people have been incredible, but I know they'd love a night in Vegas. I think they're gonna. I think Warrington's next fight is gonna be in the US, which will be interesting. I mean, this has opened up so many opportunities again for Warrington. I'm sure he's gonna have a fight next in the US, which is great for him. And I'm sure he's wanted to always have a fight in the US. I don't think he's ever had a fight in the US. Yeah, looking at his record, looks like he's always fought either in the UK. I think he had one fight in Germany. Otherwise, it's all been UK fights. So I'm sure a lot of boxers, of course, they love the idea of fighting in Las Vegas or in the US because it feels like a really mega fight. So yeah, I think that's next for Warrington. He's gonna have a fight in the US. The featherweight division is certainly even more heated up than it was before. Really big win for Warrington there. He's got a lot of potential fights that he can take in the US. So let's see what his next steps are. I think that's all. I'm going to wrap things up. Interesting range of fights. I think it'd be interesting to see a Lara Warrington 3 fight. Don't know if we'll ever see it though. I'm sure deep down Josh will want to kind of be able to make good that fight that he had lost. Maybe it's the reason why Martinez decided to take on Warrington for his first defense. But I guess shown by this fight between Warrington and Martinez, don't always go for revenge fights because you'll be surprised at what might happen. But if Warrington comes in the way that he came in for this Martinez fight and fought Lara, it's going to be a super competitive fight. But from what Eddie's suggesting and from what Warrington's suggesting, it looks like the next fight is going to be in the US. So get ready to stay up a bit later for the next fight if you're interested in seeing Warrington fights. And I'm sure we'll find a way to stay up as well and to chat through the fights with you. Anyway, everybody, thanks everyone for tuning in. If you could like and subscribe, it always helps the channel grow. Hope you enjoyed listening to this playthrough of the kind of commentary, basically blow-by-blow commentary. Catch you on the next one. Lots of good fights coming up over the next few weeks and months. So yeah, catch you on the next one, and thanks very much for tuning in.